recording.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, next week. If you don't have AC next week, it'll be.
Are you putting on a voice?
No. Is this?
You sound deeper.
I don't know why.
Do you have an effect on? That
No,
makes you
not
sound
at all,
deeper?
man. No, I sound normal to me. I don't know.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know what. Anyway,
Dude, you sound like a
if
frat
you
guy.
hold on, I'll get a backwards hat.
Why? Listeners, email in. Am I crazy or did Kevin sound deeper? Is he trying to sound more manly in this economy? Trying to sound more manly in this economy? Yep, he's got a backwards hat. I'm wearing a backwards hat. I just realized that. Maybe we should both talk like that.
Is that better?
I heard that
Is
still.
that better?
No, but I have a backwards hat too.
All right,
so
great. We're
maybe
frat
we should
bros
both
this
talk like
week.
this. We're frat
Bro,
bros.
let me tell
Yeah,
you
bro.
about how many of my rights are being impinged upon because I'm uncomfortable in society.
Budweiser can't drink that no
Bro,
more.
let me tell you about how hard it is to be a dude. No, so okay, I got the backwards hat on. Hopefully this fits the sound of my voice for you, Odie. Actually,
I have a filter.
kind of a bro. No, I don't. Kind of a bro activity that I would like to throw out there for you. So one, I'd like to start the podcast by saying congratulations to my buddy Josh because he has been getting out of his comfort zone. Now, he has given me some credit for getting out of his comfort zone, and I've heard his version of the story of me making him sing karaoke, and I'll let him keep it, right? He's added some details, and it's more dramatic, and I heard him tell it at a barbecue yesterday, and I was like, that's not how that went down. But, like, whatever. You can have your, I feel like we all have a romanticized version of the things that we do in our heads, right? And this, I'm going to, so Josh and we've been working together, right? Building a deck. I'm throwing some doors in. We're doing a bunch of general contractor stuff. It's been fun. He also ran 8 miles this week because he ran with me and ran his first 5K ever. Like, literally just, like, jumped into it. And he texted me last night, was like, do you want to run tomorrow morning? I was like, tomorrow morning's my shopping day, dude. I'm sorry. Like, and I actually kind of felt like, I was like, is this guy just, like, showing me up now? Like, he's doing all the things that I do, but doing them really well. Like, it's like the plot of, like, a Tim Robinson movie, But shout out to him because he ran a 5K, he's singing karaoke, but he invited me. One thing that we didn't do this week, I had my niece's birthday party to go to. He invited me to go line dancing. And have you ever been line dancing?
Yeah.
You have. So know,
I grew up in the South,
you
bro.
know what I'm only assuming is the great joy of doing the honkiest thing that people can possibly do.
The honkiest
The honkiest of tonkiest activities. This is all I can imagine that line dancing is. And in my mind, even though I couldn't go, I started prepping and I realized this is why some people always think to invite me to places. And this is why some people never think to invite me to places. And it's because I was like, well, if I show up to line dancing, the only way I'm breaking the ice is by letting people know how unfamiliar with it I am. And then my brain goes, it'd be really funny. Just walk in and start yelling, go, all right, let's do some line dancing. I didn't know cocaine was legal now, but I would have just called it rail dancing. That's a little more straightforward in my opinion. If you wanted to do some line dances, usually you do some lines before you do some dancing. I've been to the club.
In private.
And just make everyone feel way more awkward than I could. This is how I introduce myself to social settings where I would feel awkward. Is I go, no, you all are going to feel way more awkward than I'm going to feel. Now I'm in control. And then I taper the expectation by going, just kidding. And that's it. And they go, wait, what the fuck is this guy? And I realized as I was thinking about that, one, that's why Josh and like friends of mine who are looking to like experience more in life and get out of their comfort zone do invite me to places. Two, that's why people who maybe enjoy their comfort zone don't invite me places. They're like, let's not invite Kevin. He'll come in yelling something about drugs and make.
If there's a double entendre where you can make it sound like it's drugs and
He's
not
gonna
actually
do it.
dancing, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, guys.
So
I asked him if he wanted to go to a high rise, and he was like, "Why are we getting high up
So
here?"
let me rephrase. Have you ever done line dancing?
Well, now I don't know how to answer that question.
Answer the question,
without
Odie.
incriminating myself.
Have you ever done line dancing?
From the neck down, yes. Does that
yeah. All right, you ready to clap?
Okay, but before we clap real quick,
You've done this
pause it for a
multiple
second.
weeks.
You
We're
literally
supposed to start the podcast with the clap. All right.
I know, but you literally sound like you have like a monster.
I have
filter on.
no
Like, I'm
filter
not-
on
I'm
my
not
voice whatsoever. It's definitely your speakers. Like, I sound normal.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out real quick while we're still recording because it sounds
It sounds weird to you.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds weird to me. I'm trying to figure out
Okay,
why.
do you want to stop and do something different? I have no effect. I'm looking
I'm
at
just-
GarageBand right now.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't matter if it was GarageBand. It's got to be through Zoom because that's where
Hold
it's
on.
coming from. So I'm just trying to see real quick.
How about now?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you sound normal. What'd
That's
you do?
hilarious. Okay. Zoom has live performance audio. And I turned
We are terribly sorry to interrupt your program, but Kevin fucked up.
performances.
Oh, it's
where
got to be on
you're
your end,
like-
Odie. It's on your end, Odie. Not on my end. This is 2 weeks in a row.
definitely-
You've been the one with
That's-
audio issues. Let the
that's
record
my
show.
fault.
After 100 episodes. it is
After
now
100
to 2.
episodes, you've got 2 episodes of me fucking up.
Yeah, it's 100 to 2, guys. But hey, 98 more and we'll be even.
We finally corrected things for you, and then it's just me, like, over and over again. Oh, yeah, no, that's messed up. All right. You ready to clap?
I'm ready to clap.
Even though I revealed to you last week that this does nothing.
It doesn't
for
matter,
the-
but yeah.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of the UnPop Podcast.
No.
I am your host and
No.
Capitan, Kevin
No.
Minor Todo Siempre, sponsored this week by Tangy Pickle Doritos. He, him. With me as always is...
I'm not doing this with you this week. I'm not. Do you have coffee? Show me. Where's your mug? What's in it?
Coffee. Not as bad. Not as bad as the guacamole. You
I'm your chef.
He's so sad now.
Cooking up content with my just absolutely bonanza of a captain.
These are
who
really tangy.
is constantly trying to put himself in what's not the brig, the hospital. What's the hospital on a boat called? Med Bay?
I think it's
Constantly.
the med brig.
You're trying to go to the med brig.
I also have a Mosasaurus cup.
Oh, because you saw Jurassic World and we both
No,
loved it?
because I was going into the F1 movie and I saw the Mosasaurus cup and I said, "Can I have that?" And they were like, "It's an upcharge," and I was like, "That's fucking fine." That's
the
fine.
wind out of my
So-
sails.
so
I had a
just-
good intro for myself, but I saw Kevin rip open. We went over this. For those that don't know, a couple episodes ago, Kevin had the bright idea to eat guacamole chips and coffee.
Yeah, it was
And
horrible.
Then he died on the podcast, and we
Bad
brought him back
choice.
to life with likes and subscribes.
These ones are
And-
okay though.
But it's
Tangy
dill
pickle.
Like, dude, the news of the week, Kevin. We got news of the week, everybody. Let's
The
get
news.
into it.
Yeah, baby. It's the UnPop News coming at you fresh and hot from the command deck of the SS Marlon Brando. Let's see what this week had in store.
All right, what do you got for me?
I was like,
you-
wait, are you ready?
You know what, Odie? Before we start the news, I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Yeah! Yeah! All right, news. Let's hit it.
All right. You watched some of Ironheart this week, right?
I did. Yeah, no, I did watch Ironheart. It was not bad, actually.
Yeah, I've heard
not
that
bad.
if you're a lot of people that are obviously review bombing it are review bombing it for the same reason that like Captain Marvel and the Marvels. And
Yeah, they're
Miss
racist and
Marvel.
sexist.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, like there's
Bingo.
an entire incel comic book. There's an entire culture of guys who have done too much insofar as investing in their hyper niche interests, and then are wondering why they're undateable because they're not investing any time into any communication skills, and then they take it out on the part of their hyper niche interest that they think is to blame for them being undateable. And that's it. That's incels. It wrapped up in a. I wish I had a "the more you know" sound clip that I could
use
play.
that in Magnum Opus. I can send it to you.
I'll see if I can find. No, I want to find like a public domain one. You know,
That's
yeah.
what I have.
Oh, okay, cool. Maybe we'll do that. Anyway, okay,
Yeah,
you keep
watched,
going.
You watched some of Ironheart.
I did. I
and
watched the
it
first
seems
2
pretty good.
episodes.
I watched the first episode. I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah. If you've
not-
watched every Marvel show, it's just fine. It's fine.
It's got pretty high ratings in terms of like Rotten Tomato.
It's better than every Ant-Man movie. Like,
I mean, that's a low. Well, the first Ant-Man's not. No. Maybe. I
yeah,
haven't seen the first one in a
listen to
while.
you. You're like, well, the first no.
Well, that Michael Pena bit is like the best part.
But that's it.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it though.
Well, so
Okay.
the news about Ironheart
Hit me.
is nobody knew. Did you know that actually ended Phase 5?
Oh no,
of
I had
Marvel?
no idea.
Yeah,
that's
Phase-
the end of Phase 5 is Ironheart, revealing. Okay, never. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
do that.
so I don't want to spoil that.
Yeah, me
but,
neither. Big reveal though.
Speaking of Ant-Man,
Yeah.
Ant-Man Quantum Mania,
Yes.
which was all the way back in 2023, is what kicked off Phase 5. So everything from Ant-Man 3 to now has been Phase 5.
The
and if
the
does
forgotten
anybody
years
care?
of Marvel. The forgotten-
Does anybody care about what came out?
What?
Because that would be your Secret Invasions, your She-Hulk, Daredevil Born Again, The Marvels.
Thor: Love and Thunder?
Captain America, there's a Birdman. 2 Birdmen.
Loki season 2.
Loki Season 2.
Okay.
Agatha All Along.
Okay, hold on though. All right. What did we? You've got the listen. What did we get in Phase 5 that was worthwhile? Because Agatha All Along, loved it, phenomenal, right? It was great. Like that was actually beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else did we get in Phase 5 that was worth it? Anything?
I mean, it's a short list.
Guardians
Here,
of the
wait.
Galaxy 3?
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was on there.
That was fine. That was good, right? We got
here,
Adam
let
Warlock.
me-
That was cool.
I have a
um,
picture. Marvel.
What
Let me
else
find it
did
in
we
my
get in
notes.
Phase? Secret Invasion was horrible. And I really
Okay.
I wish
we
Secret
got
Invasion
Ant-Man
had been
Quantum
better.
Mania. We got Secret Invasion. We got Echo. We got Loki Season 2. We
Echo
got
was
Captain
okay.
America.
Okay.
We got Thunderbolts. We got Black Panther 2. We got the
That was bad.
Daredevil movie.
Okay.
Or show, sorry.
Yep. Okay, that was good.
Um,
Born Again. That was good.
We got some What If, which I
What If
don't-
is good. What If is always good, but it's like a separate thing. Like it shouldn't be part of the phase.
Yeah, I don't typically...
It's not part of the phase.
Yeah, I don't typically watch a lot of them.
Okay.
So for movies, so here's the official list. I just got it from Disney.
Hit me.
Movies.
'Kay.
We got Ant-Man 3, Guardians 3, The Marvels, Deadpool 3, Captain America 4, and Thunderbolts.
Okay. Deadpool 3, Guardians 3, and then you liked Thunderbolts. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard
pretty
it's good.
It's coming out on.
Okay.
It should be on streaming.
should be
around
out
the time
now.
This comes out.
Yeah.
And then for TV shows, we got Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, What If Season 2 and Season 3, Echo, Agatha, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Daredevil Born Again, and Ironheart. I thought there was
The
more.
shows are
It's a
actually
lot.
better in this
Yeah.
phase. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is an interesting thing because usually the phases, at least like from phase like 3 onward, it was kind of like the shows weren't as good, but Loki, Echo, Daredevil, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are all great. Are you there?
Yeah. No, sorry. I was also looking at more notes. I'm listening to you. I'm looking at these shows, and I'm like, I keep thinking Moon Knight happened, and I'm like, Moon Knight's the best
No,
one.
that was
It
phase
wasn't.
4.
Yeah, it was phase.
I
yeah,
hope
phase
Moon
4.
Knight comes back. That was such a good show. But
He
okay,
needs
so
yeah.
we've gotten some good shows in phase 5. That was phase 5. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
I
got
think
some
phase
good
5
shows.
had better shows. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
then it did movies. Yeah, because
'Cause-
Captain America, Falcon Man versus Red Hulk sucked.
I think the only movie I liked in this phase was probably Thunderbolts.
Deadpool 3.
Oh,
phenomenal.
But that doesn't feel like an MCU movie. That's the
But
problem.
it is though. Because it
is.
does like it. You
It
know what?
counts.
You know what? Deadpool. Here's what the Deadpool movies tend to take the things that can't fit elsewhere in the MCU. Deadpool's almost like a trash compactor for like the stuff that they can't use for the like main plot lines, but it ends up becoming like a Pulp Fiction jamboree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
100%.
So we got some
And
good
I
stuff.
think-
Loki season 2 was actually probably I would say one of the best
That's the best thing
seasons
that happened
of
in
a
Phase 5.
Marvel show ever. Yeah.
That is I would say
Loki's
Loki
the best.
season 2 is the best thing that happened in Phase 5. In my opinion.
Close second, Agatha all along.
I was gonna say close
absolutely
second would be
loved
Agatha.
Aubrey Plaza as
Ugh.
Death is like fucking.
She better come back too.
Agatha all along. I hope like 1 comes back. I hope 2 has greater implications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it'd be really fun if we got into like Phase 6 and it was a little more like mystical and dare I say whimsical. You know,
It's a little bit of both. It's
Yeah.
Like a little, yeah, it had a nice
Patty
vibe.
LuPone fucking killed it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, she's great.
Yeah. All right. More.
So
we both agree. More Agatha all along. More whimsy.
Yeah, I mean,
we
we'll
want
see what
the era of whimsy Marvel.
Phase 6 kicks off in literally like 2 weeks or 3 weeks with
Yeah.
Fantastic Four. So we'll see.
We'll see.
And speaking of superhero stuff,
Yes.
keeping on that track.
Moving on.
This is a small bit of news, but I just thought this was interesting. We all know James Gunn's in charge of DC.
Yep.
It looks like he might be bringing another Guardians of the Galaxy alumni over to the DC universe.
Who?
Because the intention is for Palm Clementef, I think that's how you say her name, to star in the Korean language series about the Huntress, who is a Harley
Whoa.
Quinn.
Whoa.
If you saw
Yeah.
the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, the Huntress was
Whoa.
in that. So, yeah.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Who is that actress?
Palm Clementef was in the two newest Mission Impossible. She's Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh. Okay. Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Yep.
Love
Great,
it.
right? I like she's
Yep.
honestly, if you haven't seen the new Mission
Phenomenal.
Impossible movies, she's in that as like a rogue agent kind of thing. She can play an action
She's so good.
hero. And I know she's super funny as Mantis, but I
Yeah.
think the Huntress is a good blend for her because the Huntress is a little quippy
Oh,
and
yeah.
very action heavy. So like
Yeah.
I like that. And the Huntress is a fucking cool DC character. I really like the Huntress.
I like you know, we talk about it every week. I love where James Gunn is going with this, right? I love what's happening. If I can piggyback off of that, I walked into the F1 movie just as the final Superman trailer was playing. And I have to say, okay, 1, everything looks great. We keep saying it. It looks like it's going to be the era of DCU, unless Marvel can be whimsical enough. But it looks like it's going to be the era of DCU, right? James Gunn is crushing it. I cannot say enough. I was thinking about it as I was grocery shopping this morning, because I'm an old man and I go to the store at 7 a.m.
I do that.
Okay,
On
good.
Sundays.
We're old men. I'm there in my Birks and a polo, shopping, getting my meal prep shit.
Love it.
So I was thinking about the Superman trailer this morning, like kind of just going over it in my head. That is how you fucking do a trailer. They didn't
Dude,
give away
right?
too much of the movie. There's little snippets of a lot. Little tiny snippets of a lot. And if you're like a deep DC fan, you're like, I know that, I know that,
Yep.
I know
You're
that,
pointing
I
at the
know that.
screen.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
and that thing, like you're recognizing the things from the comics. But if you're not, you're like, what's that? What's that? What's that? You know, so there's a lot of people who are going in, and the movie hopefully will be answering the question for them as to what these characters are, what these moments are. And I love that we got one little, like, I think 2 of the trailers now, we got one little snippet of Nicholas Hoult in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, thank you for just going there. Thank you. Like, there's so much that's like happening in that. And then the other thing that I really liked is the first like third of the trailer really focuses on one specific scene in the film. and they use the dialogue from that scene that highlights what the crux of the drama of the film I think is going to be, which is Superman's trying to be a good guy, and the world's like, you're not doing it right.
They're iffy on
Yeah,
him,
well,
it
they're
feels
like, well, Lois Lane's like, can I interview you? And
I
as
love that
Superman,
trailer,
right?
by the
And then
way.
they're doing the interview with Superman. She's asking him the real question she would ask Superman because he's doing irresponsible shit. He's doing it with good intention, right? But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think that's the theme that we're really going to have of this movie. Like, how much good are you actually doing? How do you do the good that you're doing? How do you do it in the best way possible so that you can be perceived as the symbol of justice and peace that you want to be, which we've never really gotten in a Superman movie.
This superhero movie does something that we haven't seen in what I personally think in a while, and that it looks like it's going to show what it means to be a hero who actually saves people on a daily basis. The premise of superheroes was, originated around, here's these people in capes and costumes that every day are saving regular people from mugging and robberies and train derailments and plane crashes. But every superhero movie we've really gotten since Marvel Phase 1 kind of had, like, Iron Man running around saving people a little bit, Captain America a little bit.
Yeah,
but, like, I miss, and there's the one shot in the Superman trailer that completely makes me just get tingles and all over my body is when he rushes in front of the explosion and protects the little girl. Like, that is superhero shit. Anyways.
Okay. But it looks great. I'm like, every time, like, after watching, I'm like, that's a good trailer. Because we get so many trailers now, especially for superhero movies, that are like the Fantastic Four trailer. I'm like, I know most of the movie now. You know what I mean?
That one's not that trailer made me depressed.
It wasn't great.
Speaking of good trailers, though, I will say this. Before I went into F1, I watched the original teaser trailer set to We Will Rock You.
Oh,
and
yeah.
let me tell you, that is how you do a fucking teaser. That is the teaser that got me. Like, I saw that teaser in theaters, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to go fucking see it. Anyways,
but it looks good.
A couple more bits of news, because, like I said, it was kind of a light week. I wanted to talk real quick. This is a fun fact, not really news. Sinners got their wardrobe, so their clothing wardrobe came from the canceled Blade Marvel reboot. So apparently the original draft for Blade that they almost filmed was a period piece set in the 20s, and because that never moved forward, Ryan Coogler was like, I'm going to use those costumes, and use the costumes for Sinners.
Okay,
I just thought that was fun.
That's
fun
awesome. That's actually like way to be creative on that. He's like,
right?
Oh, you didn't use that for your vampire movie? Yeah, it's mine now.
It's mine now for my vampire movie.
Well, and I mean, good picks like that. Those were good costumes. Everything in it was great. Blade.
Totally.
Okay, that being said, Blade, a period piece, would have been amazing.
Oh yeah,
would have been. There's so much would have been with Blade at this point. Like, Mahershala Ali is going to be like so fucking old by the time he plays Blade.
Like, I don't think he's going to be.
He's
going
to be like, I walk during the day, motherfucker, and it's going to be like, do you walk, man? Do you walk?
Blade in a wheelchair.
Yeah, right. Blade
so
on wheels.
I thought you would appreciate this.
Hit me.
You're a Street Fighter fan, right?
Yeah, I like Street Fighter.
Okay, I never played Street Fighter. I'm a Mortal Kombat fan through and through.
Okay.
So with
Mortal
Kombat,
you do realize you don't have to pick one, right?
I do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Someone put a gun to your head and they're like,
definitively,
pick one.
you can't
and
see them, but they're standing behind me.
You play
with a
that
gun.
forever. You play
So which one are you picking?
Neither. I
Okay,
play
so you're
both.
Street
I play
Fighter.
both.
I want to tell you this insane
I see
cast
both.
for the Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
So a majority of the cast has been released, and I think this is. Have you heard anything about this?
Conor McGregor.
No, dude, no. It's kind of even more wild than that, in my opinion. It
Okay.
starts off pretty tame.
Okay.
And I'm curious if you know these characters, because you know these characters better than me.
Yeah, hit me.
So Andrew Koji is playing Ryu.
Yep.
R-Y-U.
Makes sense.
Did I say it?
Yep.
Ryu.
Yep.
Great actor. He's from Gangs of. I think it's either Gangs of New York or Gangs of London. He was
Gangs of
Storm
London.
Shadow in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yep.
It's good. Good
Yep.
actor.
Good action
that
actor.
one seems right. Next one, Noah Centineo is playing Kin. Noah Centineo was in like Black Adam.
Yep.
He was in a show on Netflix. He started off on TikTok. Not bad. Makes sense. I could see that. Then I don't recognize this actress, but Kalina Liang is playing Chun-Li. Liang, thank you.
You're welcome.
She looks like the part. I don't recognize her from anything though.
Okay,
But
cool.
this
Yeah,
is,
Chun-Li.
This is where it starts,
Okay.
this is where it starts to get into a little bit of a funny territory.
Okay, hit me with the wild stuff.
David Dasmalchian, who was Polka Dot Man. He's in the new show Murderbot, which I like.
Yep.
You recognize him. He is playing M. Bison.
He's not big enough to play M. Bison.
Right? Isn't that the villain?
Yeah, M. Bison. I mean, they must be going a different route. M. Bison is jacked. M. Bison is like, he's like this vaguely, like he is communism in a cape that coming to beat up all your fighters. Like that's what he is. He's the big enemy of. So Street Fighter. What was crazy about it in the time that it came out? It was like post Cold War. Roughly, right? Like it was around that time. And so like I didn't realize it as a kid, but you kind of like look back at it, like Street Fighter 2 was like the first popular version of it. The main like hero guy was Guile, right? He's this American dude. That's
my next one on the list.
He's fighting on an airport. And then you've got, like, Ken and Ryu. They've got, like, a little bit of a rivalry going on, right?
That makes sense.
And then you've got M. Bison, who's, like, this vaguely communist dude. And all of his cronies are, like, part of, like, the Iron Curtain. You know, they're also, like, M. Bison dressed like a Nazi / a commissar.
The picture,
from,
he looks like
yeah,
an
from,
SS soldier.
Yeah, he looks like a Nazi soldier. But then you've got Zangief. He's straight up Russian, right? He's the bear guy. He's like doing Russian pile drivers, and everybody else kind of lines up. Like you've got like a Saudi Arabia eye patch guy, you know. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, so next one. Speaking of Guile, I'm glad you said it because I wasn't sure how to say his name. Cody Rhodes, wrestler, WWE guy. Cody Rhodes.
No, that's okay. Okay. Why did you not get another wrestler to play M. Bison? Because
Dave Batista.
Guile is get fucking Dave Batista would actually be the best M. Bison. Why did you say that? Did someone fan cast him?
I'm fan casting him right
Okay,
now.
Great.
Cody Rhodes looks like Guile in this
he
picture
does.
because I'm looking at my list and it's like they're side by side.
Yeah.
I mean, except for Guile's wild ass, flat ass haircut.
David
what is that?
Dasmalchian is going to have to do steroids, is what I'm saying.
Oh, or just put him in a bodysuit.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is wild. I'm curious what you'll think. Jason Momoa is playing Blanca.
Oh no, that's perfect. Yeah. No, he's gonna play.
Good.
He's gonna play a giant green beast man who electrocutes people when he crunches down in a ball.
I have photos of the characters next to the actors, and some of these look spot on. So let me ask you this: who do you think's gonna play Balrog?
Oh God, I forgot about Balrog. I don't know.
50 Cent.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then Vega with the face mask.
Okay.
Orville Peck, country music star Orville Peck,
weird
the guy
and
who wears a mask.
Weird and interesting. He's
so
officially cast
curious.
as Vega.
This is the official.
The official cast. Okay, see now you're venturing into the territory where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this will be good now. Like,
yeah, because the next one is Andrew Scholl is playing Dan Hibiki.
Hibiki. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Purple glove guy. I don't know.
Whatever.
I was hoping you'd know more of these. Well, you knew all of them except for the last one, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, this is
Is there a Dalzim?
This is a mixed.
Yeah.
Cast.
Is there a Dalzim?
Not yet.
Is there Sagat?
Mm-mm.
Is there E Honda?
Did I name any of those?
No.
Then no.
I'm just asking. These are like the other popular fighters in the game, man.
Well, I think because the movie's still in pre-production, so I'm sure more. They might go the Mortal Kombat route where they only pick, a few fighters. We'll see.
Needed a. Oh, is there a Cassie yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Well, we need
they might be.
a
They just
couple
haven't
more of
announced
the. We need a couple more of the girl fighters. First off.
Yeah, there's only one.
Then we need. Well, Chun-Li's like the. Chun-Li and Cassie are like the two, and then
that makes sense.
we need E Honda for sure because he is like. He's the classic. He is where spamming a button came from. Like E Honda is where spam because he would do like a hand slap thing, and you could just do it the whole fight. Like you could just hit a button a bunch of times and like hand slap, and like that's where that came. So yeah, you got to have E Honda.
I missed one.
Who?
This article lied to me. I just looked at the cast to double check. Akuma is played by Joe Anoa'i, another WWE guy.
Okay. So this is crazy because this means that Akuma is going to be the real bad guy in my mind. Because Akuma is like, Akuma's like an other. We'll see how it goes. This is confusing me more. The more you get into how and who, I'm like, what are they doing for the plot of this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm curious. It should be interesting. I'm more excited for Mortal Kombat 2, obviously.
I mean, Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be sick.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
So
They're actually Mortal Kombat 2, the real Mortal Kombat.
Here we go. Because they're actually going to do Mortal Kombat.
They're actually going to do Mortal Kombat.
Hopefully. Maybe. Probably not. So then real quick, you didn't get to see it, but in front of Jurassic World Rebirth is the Odyssey trailer for Christopher Nolan.
Oh,
it's leaking
nice.
Online.
There's a trailer already for that?
It's a teaser.
Okay.
Holy shit.
It looks good.
It's so the teaser, and this isn't a spoiler, and like it's online already, so you can look it up, and you should. Like, it's a good trailer.
Yeah.
It's John Berthnell's character talking to Tom Holland about Odysseus. So Tom Holland is playing Odysseus' son.
Yep.
Odysseus is played by Matt Damon.
Yep.
And it is just a really, like, the way that John...
that means John Bernthal's going to be the bad guy.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, there's so little that you see in this.
John Bernthal's either going to be a citizen of Odysseus's land. I forget the name off the top of my head right now, but this isn't a pop quiz. Or he's going to be the guy who marries Odysseus's wife while Odysseus is gone.
Unfortunately, there's no... The only two names we know are Matt Damon's and Tom Holland's. Tom Holland is
Who's Matt Damon?
Odysseus.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
I will be interested to see how that plays out.
There's not much to say about it. It looks good. If you can find the trailer online, I would encourage you to watch it. It's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Okay.
To me, his strike rate is about 50-50, but that's just because I have qualms with some of his movies.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, looks good. Other trailers, though, that we did get to actually see, Project Hail Mary and the new Running Man.
Okay, first off, Project Hail Mary revealed the fucking spoiler in the trailer.
The alien?
They should not have shown the alien in the trailer. 100% should not have shown the alien in the trailer. That's actually a huge reveal.
Unless that happens like really early on and there's more that we don't know.
It's
but
a
I agree.
huge reveal.
Yeah.
Anyway, should not have absolutely and they showed it at the end too, which was cheeky, but if they would have saved that movie would have infinitely greater reviews. Like, I guarantee it would have been infinitely better if people had been able to go in blind not knowing that there's an alien in it.
Well, let me ask you this. Does it give you any sense of confidence that it's directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and it was written by the guy who wrote the screenplay for the Martian movie with Matt Damon?
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be really good.
I think it's going to be good. I'm only criticizing the trailer, not the movie itself. Like, the movie looks good. Yeah.
Well, trailers lately, they really love to spoil everything. Yeah. And it really annoys me that a lot of times, for people that don't know, a lot of trailers are actually made third party from movie studios. They contract companies out to make trailers. That's their specialty.
Yeah.
And they only give them a certain amount of footage to work with. So, yes, it's definitely still somewhat the studio's fault for giving them.
Stop giving people your spoiler footage. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also, these people are making a trailer based off of not seeing the movie and instructions. So they're doing their best to paint what the movie is.
The source material is there for Project Hail Mary.
Oh,
go look it up, Do some more research if you're going to be paid thousands of dollars to make a good trailer for something.
Well, and that's the thing is, if you look at a lot of these trailers, right, I would say you could put up 5 of the last trailers that have come out in 2 weeks, and they're all very similar. The pacing, the text coming up, the music cue. And, you go back to trailers from, the early 2000s, 90s. Dude, I looked up the trailer for Days of Thunder, which I'll talk about later, but, totally different vibe on those trailers. But
100%.
Project Hail Mary, Ryan Gosling. In space, saving the world, universe, whatever.
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be good.
There's
it's
not
a good story.
Yeah. But there is a lot to talk about.
Here's the funny thing with Ryan Gosling. doing this movie. It's another movie that I would say there's like a genre of film now that's like sending everyday occupations into space to save the world. You know what I mean?
Armageddon
That's
started it.
That's a
We're
whole
still
genre.
doing it.
Yeah, Interstellar. Right, I'm not an
astronaut
farmer. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like we're constantly grabbing like that's the hook of these stories is like he knows nothing about space, but we're shooting him up in there anyway.
He'll save the world.
That's a whole
that's great.
genre. All right.
It is. It totally is. The other trailer was for Edgar Wright's Glenn Powell's The Running Man. And
Yep.
Holy crap.
Have you seen the original of The Running Man?
I recently watched it knowing that the trailer for this was coming out.
Okay.
And the original Running Man is goofy.
Way different.
And it's definitely not the
different.
book. Because the book is this new one. The new one is he's out in the world and people are chasing him in the world. The old movie is they're in like a course.
I forgot because so you had me watch the Running Man trailer, but I forgot in the original Running Man because like I haven't seen it in so long. Arnold Schwarzenegger says the "I'll be back" line,
Yeah.
which is fucking insane.
Stupid.
Like it's Ridley Scott. There's a lot going on with the Terminator and the Running Man and just all the stories that were being told that he was the biggest action star in the fucking world, right? And that
totally.
was the line. So of course they got him to say the line,
Yeah.
Anyway, but the old Running Man, it's more of like a zany game show that he has to survive.
He's a soldier and he refuses to shoot on civilians, so
Yeah.
they put him in jail. And then the host of the Running Man is like, "I want him to compete," which
Yeah.
is not the book at all. The
No,
book is a
not
guy
at
was
all.
like. The new one is the book where a guy signs up for the Running Man. It's an event that takes place out in the world and people hunt
Yeah.
you, and if you survive, you get money. And that is so much more interesting.
Oh yeah, agreed.
There's a movie that came out on Amazon Prime with John Cena called Jackpot, which is the world has a lottery, and if you win, you have to survive for 24 hours, and if you survive for 24 hours, you win it, and if whoever kills you gets the jackpot instead.
Okay.
And it's bad. It's not a good movie. I did not enjoy it. This looks like
a good version
obvious.
of that.
It looks like a good version, which sounds weird because obviously this is a book, but like movie-wise, this just looks really good. Josh Brolin's in it. There's a lot of William H. Macy pops up in it.
I really like that they do the "I've got a grenade back at you" bit. Like that.
Oh,
that
dude.
was good. I was
Yeah.
happy with that.
Michael
Yep.
Cera, Coleman Domingo, Katie O'Brien.
Yeah,
like, Jesus.
The Michael Cera part caught me off guard. I'm like, he is in some because he was just in the Phoenician scheme and he was
Yeah.
great. And
Yeah, he
like,
was.
I feel like there was enough of a break from him doing goofy roles that now when he's showing up in things, it's like there's like an air of goofiness about it, but like he's doing more serious stuff too. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is cool.
And
A
he
new
works.
era for Michael Cera.
I recently saw him in the movie Sacramento
Yeah.
earlier this year. And that honestly, like, he plays an anxiety riddled. He's still funny in it, but like his whole thing is he's super anxious and stressed about having a kid.
Yeah.
And like he plays that role with a lot of serious tones, but also having some really good comedic moment. But it's just from his like the way he presents dialogue. And I think it's always good
Yeah.
to have him in stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the look of the new Running Man. I'll definitely be seeing that.
It's so good.
Yeah, it looks
it
good.
looks so good, I should say.
Yeah.
November 7th. We'll see.
Oh, cool.
So this year at least.
All of these are coming out before Thanksgiving
All of
Everything
these
that
movies
we've
are
talked
coming
about
out.
so far.
Yeah, all the movies. Yeah, they're all coming out.
Wow.
Well, not Street Fighter, but
Oh, Street Fighter's not? Oh, that's
Street
just
Fighter's
casting.
ne-
Yeah.
yeah. But Mortal Kombat 2 comes out this year.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Is that coming straight to streaming? Or are we
no,
getting
that'll
a
hopefully
limited
go to theaters.
release?
The first one only went to streaming because of COVID.
Oh, yeah. It's
let's see,
2021.
When does Mortal Kombat 2 come out? October 24th?
Hell yeah.
All right, if you will allow me to, Kevin, I would like to just quickly tell you about Jurassic World Rebirth
Very quickly.
before we talk about the movie that's actually good and worth talking about.
Hit me.
Full spoilers for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on. Odie Matthews at the movies. No, okay. Is this a direct sequel to the other Jurassic World movies? before you get into it.
Okay. In the Jurassic World universe, it tries to be.
Okay.
As a viewer, it's not.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it
Okay.
belongs at all.
All right, jump into it.
Okay. So, like I said, full spoilers. If you saw the trailer, you've seen this movie. First off, it's from one of my favorite directors, which is so disappointing. It's so disappointing when a director, a writer, or an actor I like is in a movie that looks like it should be good, and then it's fucking garbage. And there's my rating.
This didn't look like it would be good, though. We talked about the trailer for this. It's a movie where everybody's trying to be the funny man. Right? Ugh. Everybody's got their quippy lines. They're like, well, that doesn't look good. You know,
everything you just said is not good.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I had hopes because, again, we talked about trailers. I was like, well, maybe there's more to it. It's Gareth Edwards. He's good with scale most of the time. Like, he's good with a lot of this stuff. But
he's
honestly,
good with scale? All right.
All of my praises for him as a director, I can't give him any of those on this movie. And it's really disappointing.
Yeah. It was a miss
because it's a huge miss.
Is this his sophomore film directing though?
No, he did Rogue One, and he said he wasn't.
He didn't direct
big...
Rogue One, did he?
He did.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to go back to a big Hollywood movie. So when he was announced for this, I was a little surprised and honestly skeptical.
Yeah.
And here we are. But here's the crazy thing: the guy who wrote the original screenplay for the first Jurassic Park wrote this one.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay. The first Jurassic Park had Dan Crichton, right? Like it was off the Dan Crichton novel. It's not the
Michael
same.
Crichton.
Or sorry, Michael Crichton. It had Dan Crichton.
Danny boy.
Michael Daniel Crichton. So they were going off of this material. It was a wholly original story. Everything was gigantic for this production, right? Like, it was like the first of its kind. It was like a landmark production. Probably one of my favorite films when I was a kid, you know?
Oh, easily.
I think what we could have done, because then we got Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3. Great. They sold a bunch of toys. I bought some of them, you know? I was like, I want I want the new T-Rex that has 3 swipe marks on its side.
Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I want the Mosasaurus cup. Actually, that's from the new Jurassic World. It's not in the original. Anyway, so what they really, in my opinion, because I'm looking at the timeline, and hindsight's 2020. You know, Heinz ketchup site is 2020. They should have taken an extended break. This would have been 30 years, I think, next year.
32
from
since the original, 93.
From the original, right? So in around this time would have been the best time to redo the original. Instead of doing all this Jurassic World bullshit, redo the original, get like today's Jeff Goldblum to be fucking Jeff Goldbloomy, right? You know, instead of doing all the weird shit that they've been doing. And I guess, I'm sure these movies have obviously done well enough that they keep making them.
Well, the last one made $1 billion.
It made $1 billion? Wait, the last Jurassic World movie made $1 billion.
Hence why we got this one. So real quick, the writer also wrote Black Bag, one of my favorite movies this year.
Oh, good movie, yeah.
The movie Presence, one of my favorite movies
this
year.
Yeah.
He also wrote the original Mission Impossible.
Yep.
And he wrote the original Spider-Man. So,
okay.
Dude,
the writer is good.
The writer's great.
The writer's good.
But that's the thing is the writing in this movie is god awful. So let me run through this. I'm gonna speed run the entire movie in the plot.
Okay.
You have and let me bring up the cast. Okay. So you have Scarlett Johansson, who's playing this former Marine. And here's the thing, and I'm just going to stop right here.
I'm ex-Marine. Black Widow Scarlett Johansson.
Dude, I hate. So her team is like Marshala Ali and a couple other people that are just there for cannon fodder. And like they'll be like, we were together in MARSOC, which is like a Marine Corps Special Forces, which they used to be called the Marine Raiders. And they're like, our specialty was getting people in and out of situations. They make the Marine Corps sound like it's the CIA, FBI, NSA, the SEALs, the Rangers, all rolled into one. That these guys were like operating like completely outside of what the Marine Corps MARSOC actually does. And like,
that's funny.
It drives me insane when writers are like, well, we'll just make them Marines because they're It's like, you don't, shut up. No.
You don't know.
Don't like it. And also like, the only thing.
Well, I mean, at least they didn't show up there like we're Special National Guard, the unheard of.
Dude. The only thing that this movie gets right is the fact that, like, the Marine Corps characters, when they talk to each other, some of their dialogue sounds like conversations I had in the Marine Corps, where I'm like, yeah, like, you would pick on each other that way. But at the same time, it also falls into that quippy, jokey category. So it's like, anyways, I'm going to use actor names. Fuck their character names. It doesn't matter. So,
I think they just made them the Marines because America. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was it. They're like, oh, how do we get people to see this? They're Marines.
Scarlett Johansson is just not believable as this badass special forces action adventure person in this movie because she just
What do you mean? She was Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah, that's right. God, maybe I should go see this movie again with a different mindset. But anyways, okay. So Scarlett Johansson is this team leader. She's really good at specializing in stuff. Rupert Friend is this billionaire geneticist. He wants the blood from the 3 largest dinosaurs on the planet that are still alive to create a cure for heart disease. It's going to cure heart disease.
What?
Yeah. So he's teaming up with Jonathan Bailey's character, who's like a dinosaur expert. And it turns out that even though the last trilogy, Kevin, the last trilogy set up what if dinosaurs were in the real world, this movie starts with text saying, they all died except for a few that are around the equator.
They all died except for a few.
Around the equator.
Why?
Because the planet.
Because the flu.
Because the flu.
It's so dumb.
The planet isn't warm enough
and
tropical
so
enough. So
you mean all of the consequences of Jurassic Park Dominion died off screen?
Mm-hmm.
That's so dumb. All right, keep going.
See what I'm saying? Like, they mention the events. Like, they name drop Alan Grant. Like, Jonathan Bailey's character's like, I studied under Alan Grant.
So dumb.
And they're like, yeah, 4 years ago this happened.
I studied under Alan Grant when you were, what, 3 years old?
Basically.
Jonathan Bailey, who's like 20-something years old.
Yeah, and
this movie franchise is older than you.
Dude, okay, so get this, too. This movie also fucks up the timeline because it says it's 32 years since the first Jurassic Park, which is accurate, but then it's like it's been 8 years since the last one. And I'm like, but it's only been 3 since the last one.
Alan Grant is like borderline retired in every Jurassic Park movie, and you studied under him. Got it.
Okay, so they get this team together, which includes Marshala Ali and his boat crew, to go to this island, and they need the blood from the mosasaur, your cup, a giant flying one, and the one with the long neck, but like it's a
Brontosaurus.
One. It's like that, but it's all these dinosaurs are fucking mutated. They're
They're
more
mutated.
Real. Another thing that bothers me about this is, for a long time, people were like, we would love accurate dinosaurs with, like, feathers and stuff. And Dominion did that. And then this one was like, nah, fuck that. Back to movie dinosaurs.
That's lame.
It is lame. Not a single one had feathers. And I'm like, I get, like, you can have some that are, like, mutated, but, like, come on. Anyways, they go to the island to get blood.
Okay.
And while they're going to the island, we also get to follow this family where they're
family?
And they get attacked by the mosasaur. So then our boat crew, which is what I'm just going to call Scarlett Johansson's crew. It's the boat crew, right? It's all of them. It's everybody I mentioned. They pick them up. And then while they're going to the island, they're getting the blood from the mosasaur. Spinosaurs attack. They kill a couple of the crew.
Okay.
The family jumps off the boat because, would you believe, the guy in charge of the expedition, the billionaire, is actually evil, and he tries to kill one of the girls for radioing for help because they're not supposed to be there. He tried to push her off the boat because they can't radio for help. So the family gets separated. They go through the island. More people die. But here's the thing. Only 3 people die in this movie. 4 people die in this movie. There's not enough cannon fodder.
Way more people should die.
Way more people. So then it's just basically literally what most of the movie is. You cut between the family running away from the T-Rex, which is in the trailer. You cut back to the boat crew running away from really nothing. They kind of just walk around and get the blood like it's no big deal. Like, even the scene in the trailer where, like, they're up on the side of the cliff and there's, like, the flying one.
Yeah.
Dude, Jonathan Bailey falls off the cliff and lands in water and then just gets out and was like, I'm fine, even though he fell, like, 500 feet.
That's dumb.
And then, basically, like, there's really not much to say because they just kind of go through the plot until they get to the end where the mutated dinosaur is. That's like a T-Rex, but it has like a weird head. It eats the bad guy.
It's always a
T-Rex.
It's always a T-Rex.
T-Rex wasn't there. There's only one T-Rex in this, and it
No, I
barely
mean
does
like
anything.
it's always like a weird like they're
It's
like
called the D-Rex.
the D.
I'm not kidding. It's called the T-Rex, Kevin. Dude, hang on.
D-Rex.
I gotta find a photo of this thing and
You
send it
mean
to
this
you.
movie just gave me a new nickname for my dick?
Stop. You can't say that on the
Look out for the D-Rex, baby.
Oh my god. Oh, here we go.
I'm convinced that who is the writer of this film?
The guy that I told you about.
I'm convinced he just had AI write the majority of the script, did minimal edits, and sent it in and was like, pay me.
Do me a favor while I continue to explain this. Google D-Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth and look at this fucking thing.
Okay. Does it look like a dick?
It looks so stupid. It has 6 legs.
Why do you call it the D-Rex? Because he's a fucking dick. He'll
He's
rip
a
you
dick,
apart.
dude.
He's he just shows up and he's like, actually, there shouldn't have been black elves in Rings of Power.
Oh my god. But yeah, basically this movie
D-Rex.
goes exactly how you think about it. The no-name boat crew people all die, all 3 of them, because there's not very many of them to die. They get to the end, the big D-Rex thing kills the bad guy. They all escape on a boat, and everybody lives happily ever after. And that's it. But
Its name is Distortus Rex.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Oh, it kind of looks like the thing from the end of Ritual. Did you see that movie, Ritual?
Mm-mm.
It's got like a human. The thing at the end of the Ritual had like, you know what this actually looks like? This looks like a Tyranid.
Oh
like,
my god, it does.
Right? From like Warhammer, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like a
is weird.
Tyranid and a Xenomorph had a baby.
Yeah, why does it you know what they did? They took they were like, what if the T-Rex also had a set of functional arms?
Yeah, that's what it is. And it uses those arms to pick people up. It's 2 people up. It picks up 2 people, I should say.
I'm bummed that I wasn't able to just cackle at this movie in theaters.
I wish you could have seen it, but it's not worth the money.
We'll watch
It's
it together
not.
someday and we'll crack
Oh,
up.
we definitely will. So let me there's 2 things in this movie that I wanted to highlight now that I've given you the most basic version of the plot.
Is one of them the
nothing happens.
T-Rex?
No, so
You're
in
going to
the very
get
beginning,
D-Rexed.
The movie opens with the facility that has the D-Rex. And, dude, guess how the dinosaurs break out and ruin the facility.
The
'Cause
D-Rex
we open
breaks
with
out.
a flashback. It's 17 years in the past.
Does he press his head up against the glass in an unwanted fashion?
So everybody's in these suits that
Yeah.
are like, like Tyvek, like, hazmat suits with like face visors and everything.
Yeah.
This guy has a candy wrapper in his mouth with his visor open.
Yeah.
He spits it out and then walks into the containment, and the candy wrapper gets sucked into a fan and destroys the entire system, puts him on lockdown, and opens up all the doors.
So some
because
gum.
because a candy wrapper.
Okay.
Dude, and I hate when things do, like when movies do this.
It's
because
like we have this
if you-
multi-billion-dollar facility.
And how
your
did he get a
gum
candy
ruined
wrapper
it.
in there? Nobody else has food. Nobody else has
Dude.
drinks. Everything is white. Everybody's wearing suits, and it's like nobody thought to stop this guy.
Dude,
Like,
AI
I hate
AI
that.
wrote this film.
It totally.
AI
so
wrote
that
this.
bothered me. And then the other thing that really bothered me is Scarlett Johansson's whole character is when she meets the geneticist or the rich guy. She's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to an island full of dinosaurs. And he's like, I will give you 10. I don't know how many. It's either 10 million or 10 billion, but I think it's $10 million. He's like, I'll give you $10 million. It is million. And now I'm doing the math.
It's
10
just
million.
million
He's like, I'll give you 10 million if you
to get
do
me
this. And she's
pictures
like,
of the D-Rex.
Dude, literally, the movie, the scene goes where she's like walking away, and he's like, I'll give you 10 with 6 zeros. And she's like, when do we leave? She just turns around and goes, when do we leave?
That's
and
it.
then
She's like,
so
I'll do 10. I like money.
all of the, like, for a majority of the movie, she's like, but don't forget about the money, guys. Like, her boat crew, after one of them dies, she's like, come on, like, we're here. We have to do it. Like, we're doing this for the money. Everything's for the money. I'm doing it for the money. I want the money. Everybody do it for the money. And then halfway through, Jonathan Bailey's like, what if we didn't give this guy the blood to make a cure? And what if we just, like, gave it to people who would make a cure for free? And she's like, oh, that's a great idea. Fuck money.
Oh, my
and I'm
God.
like, you're on this island for money. And then halfway through, you're like, yeah, money doesn't matter.
You're like, yeah, no, we won't do it for the money.
So
Jonathan
stupid.
Bailey, you're right. You handsome prick.
So stupid. So stupid. So
I wish that
stupid.
the plot of this movie was that they needed to just get photos of the D-Rex.
I wish it was too. I wish it. You know what this movie should have been? The movie should have
What?
been around the D-Rex. It's not in it
Yeah,
enough.
just D-Rex photos. That's what this whole movie should have been.
So it was a bad movie, and I hated it.
'Kay.
I did not like it. It was garbage. I think it's going to be one of my least favorite movies of the year because it should have been, for a movie with a big budget and a big cast and a good director and a good writer, it should have been so much better.
What was the budget on this thing?
That is a great question. I think it was $200 million. Let me
Is this
see.
like a Rebel Moon size failure? I feel like you just described this horrible experience.
180.
That's pretty big.
180 million.
That's
Oh,
pretty
wait.
big.
Sorry. Oh yeah, 180. Yeah. So it'll make its money back, but hopefully we don't get any more of these because they're bad. And I don't like them. But before we get into the next movie, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Small break. I'll play elevator music again.
We hope you're enjoying the UnPop podcast.
Scarlett Johansson, I need you to go get pictures of the T-Rex. This is what we need. For $10 million, get me pictures of the T-Rex. These Tangy Pickle Doritos are pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect these to be good.
I don't believe you.
No, like they're actually good. And I normally don't like pickles.
I love dill pickle chips.
Dude, I'm telling you, because they're the Doritos corn chips and they just have like the pickle chip dust on them, they're good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You know what else?
4th
is
of
good?
July treat. There were 2 other kinds that I almost got, but the dill pickles won out. There's hot mustard and zesty ketchup or whatever.
Ooh.
But ketchup Doritos sounds disgusting to me for some
It does,
reason.
but I kind of want to try that.
Right? Anyway.
You know what else, Kevin?
Huh.
Okay, we're gonna talk about F1. We're a week late, because that was our Jurassic World review. There you go. Woo! Bad movie. Don't go see it. Before we get into it, I know this is not normally how we do things.
Yeah.
But I haven't spoken to you about this movie. You texted me during. I got good vibes from it. On the count of 3, good, garbage, great, or fine.
No, it's garbage, bad, fun, good, or great.
That too.
I got you. Ready? 3,
Yes.
2, 1. Great.
Best movie of the year.
Oh, good. It's
No.
certified great.
Certified
Hell yeah. No, I'm not gonna say best movie of the year yet. There's still a lot
Well, so
to come
far.
out.
For me. At
What
least.
did I see? Sinners actually might be the best movie of the year so far for me.
See, Sinners is up there for me, but I think this one has because Sinners has a couple spots where it dips, but this didn't dip for me.
I actually even liked 28 Years Later more than this.
28 years later, I think it's honestly
Also up there.
And I want to run through when we're done with this review. I want to run through the movies I've seen
Okay.
this year and just see which ones we like the most.
Let's get into F1, but before that.
Let's get in F1.
But before that,
Good movie.
we normally do a top 5, bottom 5, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was so excited to do a top 5, bottom 5 that I got my top 5, not even considering what my bottom 5 would be, and then just kept it for a week. And then you were like, I'm not ready for that. So I'm going to give you my top 5 racing movies.
I was
'Cause
too
this is
busy watching the D-Rex.
It's okay. We'll do a proper top 5, bottom 5 some other time. Maybe it'll change by then. But here's my top 5 racing movies, and I'm going to explain why. Right? Number 5, Better Off Dead with John Cusack, the 1980s film that examines an ordinary teen boy experiencing malaise and suicidal tendencies, as his girlfriend was stolen from him by the captain of the ski team. This movie, and here's my theory behind this. Racing movies don't always present themselves as racing movies, and some movies that present themselves as racing movies aren't even really racing movies. For
Like Days of
instance,
Thunder.
Fast and Furious is not a race. Like most of
The
those are
first one.
Actually, no, it's a
Not
heist
even.
movie.
I would say
It's a
not
heist
even.
movie with races. However, Better Off Dead is a race movie with comedic moments telling the story of a teenage boy. In that, he races against these 2 Asian guys in a car, and that's like a theme of the movie. He gets beat twice and then finally beats them later. And then the whole movie centers around him getting better at and racing the captain of the ski team down the mountain from the highest, craziest part of the mountain. So it's a race movie, right? Would you agree?
Sure.
That's better off dead. Number 4, Rat Race. Now, it's got race in the title. The whole movie. Have you seen the movie?
Okay.
Have you seen the movie Rat Race?
I've seen bits.
It's got Seth Green, John Lovitz.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Mallrats.
No,
Sorry.
no.
I've not seen
Rat Race. Rat Race is a movie about it's kind of like Squid Game in a weird way. But Rat Race is a movie where the group of super rich people have bet on different candidates that they want to win to travel. I think it's just across the U.S. And whoever gets from one place to the other the fastest ends up winning, right?
Whoopi Goldberg's in this?
Whoopi Goldberg's in dude, the movie is hilarious and it's wacky and zany and it's an actual race. At one point, John Lovitz is driving Hitler's old automobile and gets like a cigarette burn on his upper lip. Like it's that kind of like weird humor. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's a race movie. And I think it's better than most race movies that aren't actual race movies. Number 3, Cannonball Run. It's a real race movie.
Okay.
But come on, you can't not Cannonball Run, right? I mean, if I could, I'd Cannonball Run too. Electric Boogaloo. Number 2 is another proper race movie. It's called Redline. Have you ever seen this?
I've seen Redline.
The anime project, right, where they're racing across different worlds. That's actually where
no, there's a live action movie called Redline that's about racing. But
no. I'm talking about the anime Redline.
I have not seen it.
It's an intergalactic race. It's one of the better anime projects to come out in like the new millennia. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of cars, if you're a fan of racing, if you liked Initial D. The animation itself is amazing. Like, you know, like when they stretch out like someone's face and like all of the background behind them and it makes them look like they're going faster. They have that effect in that a lot. They did a lot of really, really cool stuff with the plot development. And then number 1, my favorite race movie of all time, I don't think this will change if we do a top 5, bottom 5 at some point, is Mad Max Fury Road. Now,
Well, yeah.
it's not a race movie on its surface, right? It's a Mad Max film. It's a post-apocalyptic wasteland film. It's so good at not being a race movie that the antagonists of the film don't know it's a race movie until the race starts, and Charlize Theron as Furiosa gets a huge head start on the race. And the race is to get the fuck away from Immortan Joe's Oasis, right?
Yeah.
And then they end up racing
War
like
boys.
way off into the desert. And then it turns into a race to get back. So like
such a good
there's actually 2 separate race parts of this movie, and the whole time there's all this other drama unfolding in the theme and the setting of this world, but it's a race movie through and through.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Now, Kevin, are you ready for my top 5 race movies? 'Cause
Hit me.
I got you.
You actually do?
I pulled your leg
Oh, wow. All right,
Last
hit me
night-
with your top 5.
at like 1 a.m. in a half asleep, half high state. I wrote down what I thought in that mindset, and I want to make it clear. In a half asleep, partially high mindset, these were my 5 favorite race movies.
Number
that came to
1,
mind.
Lord of the Rings, because they're racing to
Yes.
Mount Doom.
Yes. Number 5, Fast 5. I know it's not technically a race movie,
It's
but
not.
it's Fast and
It's a
Furious.
heist movie.
Close enough. They're
Okay.
in cars. It's a race
Whatever.
against the heist.
What
Number 4, Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage.
That's a heist movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That's not a race movie.
Cars.
Not a race. You're just saying car movies.
Number 3, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Rick and Bobby.
Actual
Rick and Bobby.
race movie. Okay. This
Good
is a movie
movie.
about racing. Yes.
It's a good
okay.
movie.
Yes. But
Number
is it
2,
really a race movie, or is it a movie about a man's career?
It's a movie about a man getting better at racing.
Okay. Well, he does want to go fast.
first. You're last. Number 2, F1, because it's that good.
This movie.
And it'd probably be number 1 if it wasn't for my number 1.
What's your number 1?
My number 1.
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
No.
It's a race
That's
movie.
not a no. It's a drift movie.
Nah, it's a race movie.
It's a movie about a guy no. No to
No.
most of those. We got to redo this. I'll
Okay.
I'll redo my list. You redo yours.
Oh, sorry. That was
But-
my bottom 5 minus F1. My bad. I'm just kidding.
All right, well, great. Tokyo Drift, no. They don't even get to the drifting till like 50 minutes in. It's barely about the drifting. It's more about like a guy kind of hitting on
opens
his
with a
cousin.
race.
And like this white boy shows up and is like, I actually like her too. And he's like, well, you can't touch her.
It opens with the race, though. So
It opens with a guy running away from the cops.
that's a race of sorts.
Okay.
Anyways,
On to F1.
Dude.
This movie was great. I absolutely love this movie. I saw it last night. You saw it 2 nights ago?
I saw it yesterday.
Oh, you saw it yesterday. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
We saw it in the same
was
day.
late. Yeah.
Really good movie. Actually, yeah, no. It was your response to the movie made me go, all right, I'm going to go see it in theaters.
And this is okay. I walked out of this movie and I sat in my car for a second
Yep.
and I just thought for a 2nd
Mhm.
about everything I watched, and I got chills because with all the slop that has come out this year, and that's why I want to run down my list at the end. It's so nice to see a movie that does things that I haven't seen a movie do. It feels like a real movie with real sets. It feels like real people. It has writing that feels natural. It feels organic. Like, it doesn't feel like everyone's trying to be the joke. It doesn't feel like everyone's setting up a punchline. Like, the dialogue feels real. It feels grounded in a lot of ways. And the performances across the board, from the smallest person on the pit crew to Javier Bardem to Brad Pitt, everybody in this movie's performance is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
They sell their roles so well. And I don't usually do this, but like, Brad Pitt is such a good actor.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That man is so fucking talented.
No, he's very
I love
good.
him.
He's
I
very
love
good.
him.
Well, he's playing a character that we're very familiar with, right? He's played different characters before, but this
Yeah.
version of him, the sort of like downtrodden protagonist who needs to build himself back up, has a little bit of regrets, but like, you know, really at the end of the day, he's really good at what he does, and as long as he
Yeah.
can just like keep his head on straight, he'll succeed. Good character. First off, I want to throw this down. Brad Pitt's hair has returned. Like,
Dude.
dude's got a full head of hair. Dude definitely went to Turkey at some point.
His hair looks good in this.
He looks
I
great.
was jealous.
I'm jealous of his hair as well.
Me too.
This movie was great. Let me give you a little lore on this because we were talking before the podcast and it came up that
you watched.
I watched some interviews. Well, because
Yeah.
I was interested to hear about like what went into this, right? Because it's obviously it's a film about a sport, and a lot of times films about sports will include different people from the sports. Like, you know, it depends on what the film's being made
Yeah.
for. And F1 or any sort of racing, really, it's like every car is an advertisement because they're all sponsored, so they get like
Of course.
decals all over it. There's advertisements all over this movie. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how hard Heineken, every time it popped up, was leaning into its non-alcoholic beverage, Heineken 00, Heineken Zero. Because like every time I saw a Heineken ad, there was the zero next to it. And me, being almost 5 years sober, I'm used to that now because that's what I get when I go to
Yeah.
events. So I was like, okay, that's cool. But there's advertisements all over the place. So, like, what's the movie really being made for? Is it being made to advertise and to pull in a bunch of money? Or is it being made by people who are passionate about it? The lore behind this is that, what's his name?
It's the
Joseph.
people that did Top Gun 2.
Well, so Joseph Kosinski is on Top Gun 2. Lewis Hamilton, who
F1
is a
driver.
real-world 7-time F1 champion.
Whoa,
so like
7 times?
I think 7 times. Yeah,
Holy
he's
shit.
like a crazy F1
That's
champion.
talent.
Yeah, super talented. Arguably one of the best drivers ever.
Yeah.
Wanted to be in Top Gun Maverick. He wanted
Oh,
some
yes.
sort of a
Yeah.
role in Top Gun Maverick. He wanted to be like a pilot, right? And it didn't work out. But Joseph, because I'm going to keep trying to not say John Krasinski, right? Joseph
JK.
Kosinski, who was working on Top Gun Maverick, director, I believe. Yeah,
director.
He was at the time watching Drive to Survive, which was a show that focused on the last place F1 crew, and that's where he had he's like, oh, we should make a movie
That makes
about the
sense.
crew that's in last place in F1 because there's inherent drama to the fact that literally hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake and
Your jobs,
livelihoods and
Yeah.
like everything. And you're in last place. So he gets the idea for this film. He goes to Lewis Hamilton and he says, hey, I want to make an F1 movie. Here's the idea. And he also said, I want to do it the way we're doing Top Gun. Lewis Hamilton, who already wanted to be in Top Gun, goes, yes, absolutely. And their first pick was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So they bring the movie to Brad Pitt and they go, hey, Brad Pitt, we want to make an F1 movie. Here's the plot. Here's everything that we want to put into it. And Brad Pitt 100% on board and doubles down on the fact that they want to do it like the way that they're doing Top Gun. So
Yeah.
very similar to Tom Cruise getting in an actual cockpit, like these actors being in actual cockpits. Brad Pitt's like, okay, well, I want to get in an actual
They're actually driving these
F1.
cars.
Well, and here's the only concession that needs to be made. Insofar as the interviews I've watched, it seems as though Brad Pitt got in. He wasn't in an F1 car. All right,
It was F2 and F3, wasn't it?
Yeah. So for all the actualities that anyone could ever give, well, it wasn't actually an F1. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. An
Closer than
F2.
you've gotten.
An F2. Yeah. Right. Like. Imagine criticizing a man for only having driven F2.
Well, he only drove F2, so it doesn't count. Yeah, you and your little Toyota Prius over there. Shut the fuck up.
So Brad Pitt, and then I was watching these interviews.
Oh, wait.
I don't know if you've seen these interviews. He's pumped, dude. He's in love with
yes.
this. Like,
So can I
he's
tell you
like
my fun
talking
fact real
about the
quick?
cars. Yeah.
So, because you mentioned Brad Pitt being on
Yeah.
board, so part of the motivation for this, the movie Ford v Ferrari, which
Yes.
was ended up being Matt Damon and Christian Bale, was originally Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Tom Cruise was like, oh, I won't be driving that much. I'm out. So then Brad Pitt got canned as well. And that's why he was also so keen to do this, is because he wanted to do a driving racing movie. So that's my fun fact.
Oh, so so that one got dropped. Brad Pitt has been trying. He said in his interview he's been trying to do a racing movie for forever. For like 20 years. And so this opportunity, he was like, yeah, I'm in. And what's really crazy is the first time he actually got to drive on the track was at Silverton in front of 140,000 people, just like live driving with all these like cameras. Like they've got 15 cameras in the actual like I don't know,
The rigs are
in the
crazy.
setup of this car, and he's driving it around a real F1 track on an F2 car, but like, from
Still.
all the angles that we're getting, it looks like an F1 car. And then you have the actual like stunt drivers and drivers doing the F1 driving, and then a lot of real race footage as well. So everything kind of culminates, and it created the thing that you were raving about. What made me see this movie, and then what made me look it up more afterward, is like how much passion, time, effort, and practicality went into this. This movie, I'm sure you have a ton to share about the cinematography and things like that. I loved the practicality, and I loved that even in just listening to Bruckheimer talk about it, he's like, I was super glad when we were done filming, because having like a multi-million-dollar actor in a multi-million-dollar vehicle driving around an F1 racetrack makes you fucking sweat. Like, you're just like, if anything goes wrong, we're
done.
fucked. Like the
100%.
risk that these guys took to put this film on, and then also to have like Lewis Hamilton on board as producer. And this is a really cool thing that Brad Pitt shared about Lewis Hamilton. The little anecdote he shared was that Lewis was very hands-on, especially when it came to the sound design and what you're
That's
hearing.
one of my biggest compliments.
So Lewis Hamilton was actually in the process, and he would Brad Pitt gave a couple examples. He was correcting them. He's like, there needs to be more reverb when you're going through this straightaway, because when you go through that, you hear it. It's more like a tunnel, and like he was like explaining all the different sounds of F1 to the film. It's so that.
Yeah.
The extra touch of having a world, like one of the best drivers in the world, explaining how your film needs to sound to like a Hollywood film crew, having these great actors, having like this experience, having Kaczynski coming off of Top Gun, and Bruckheimer as a producer. Like it really was a recipe for success.
And Bruckheimer has done so many movies like this. I mean, he's Days of Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah, I mentioned that again.
And
I'll
this
just
is
say
kind
now.
of Days of Thunder 2, which is the joke that I made to you before you
Well,
started.
we're getting an actual
Yeah.
Days of Thunder 2.
I know.
And here's the thing. That first Days of Thunder movie, I could not finish it. It is not a good movie.
You were
It is
texting.
not a good movie.
Well, it's an
at
80s
all.
movie.
It came out in
through.
1990. It's the last
Oh, it
80s
did?
movie.
Oh, it's like
but
the
it's the last 80s movie.
It was
I mean,
filmed in the 80s.
It was filmed in the 80s. It's the crew that did the original Top Gun, same
Yeah,
director
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And like when I was like, "Oh yeah, you're watching F1, I'm going to watch Days of Thunder." And like, let's watch it at the same time. And then I texted you, I was like 25%, and I was like, this is not bad. Because you were
I'm
like,
done with
oh, that's
this.
going to ruin F1 for you because it has similar plot points. And I was like, no, this makes me want to watch F1 again.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
here's the thing about F1, and honestly, like, there's not much to spoiler in this movie. It is, I mean, would you agree? Like, it is exactly what you think it's going to be. It's an older racer with experience, you know, kind of going on a team with a younger guy. They
Yep.
butt heads.
Yep.
You know, they know that they're going to respect each other.
Yep.
But I will say, and we can do this in spoiler territory more, Brad Pitt's character, the more I think about his arc, the relationship with the other, like the rookie driver,
Yep.
the way his character kind of ends at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The more I think about that, I'm like, that is such a good character, such a well-written character that his ending, everything we've seen that character do up until that point, his ending really makes sense. And
Yeah.
should we just do
Well, okay,
like
that-
a little bit of full spoilers?
No,
'Cause I've, like,
no.
I've-
Let's do
I'm
the
gonna-
plot
okay.
real quick, and then we'll jump into spoilers. Why don't you run me through the general plot of F1, and then we'll jump right into spoilers.
Yeah.
We can go from there.
And I'll talk more about my cinematography and technical side.
Yeah, I've
in
felt
spoilers.
okay kind of giving the lore behind the film
liked
because that doesn't spoil anything. That gives you the
No.
setup for why we think it's
Yeah.
great, right? Yeah, give the quick
Basic plot.
rundown.
Yeah. For one, best opening I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no words, just all visual.
All visual. He's at Daytona, the 24-hour Daytona race.
Yep.
Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, is doing the race. It's an incredible opening. Just
Yeah.
it gives me goosebumps. I saw this in IMAX, so I was just fucking, dude. I was having a great time. I was center. I was in
Yeah.
like the best spot you can get, and I was just
Hell yeah.
having a fucking ball.
Here's what I really liked about the intro. He's dreaming, and you get like the snippets of the race that you find out later is like the reason he didn't race for a long time, and then like also like the sounds of a beach and eagles, and then the beach sounds and the car sounds kind of start melding, right? And then he wakes up and you realize it's fucking midnight. Like,
Yeah.
I really liked the 1-2 of him being woken up and then it's midnight and your shift is up, dude. It's time to race.
Time to race.
Yeah.
And this is in the trailer, but obviously his team wins Daytona because there's that really great line in the trailer. He's like, "When's the last time you run a race?" Daytona. Oh, I meant F1. Oh, same as you. Never.
I like that line.
That's in the trailer. Great moment. But Sonny Hayes wins Daytona. He's drawing out a map of all the places he's going to go because he's going to end up in California. We get a little tease that there's a Baja flyer, a driver needed for Baja racing. I like that little tease in the beginning.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later.
Well, yeah. So he's at a laundromat. Javier Bardem comes up and he's like, "Remember me? I'm your old friend." And he's like, "Hey, old friend, we used to race together." And he's like, "You want an open seat in F1?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, "Well, yeah."
Javier Bardem shows up and he's like, "Hey, it's me, your old friend. I'm still dressing all rich and stuff. Also, I'm super broke. Like,
I'm in trouble.
I need you to help
I'm
me.
350 or 250
300.
million
No, you're
in
right.
the hole.
350 million.
300 million.
No,
in
you're
the
right.
hole. And so Sonny Hayes is like, after thinking it over, and I really like this moment. He's at a diner because like their conversation moves from the laundromat to him taking a shower because he lives out of his van.
It's a good montage where he's like
Yeah.
convincing him over the course of like multiple hours.
A night.
Yeah.
It looks like it's over the course of an evening. They end up in a diner. He gives him a ticket to come out to London. He's like,
Yep.
"Hey, like, come be my driver." And he asks
Yep.
the person behind the counter, he's like, "Say a friend gave you a too good to be true offer. What would you do?" And she's like, "Well, how good's the money?" And he's like, "Well, it's not about the money." And she's like, "Well, then what's it about?" And
Yep.
he's like, "Oh." And that, to me, like that moment, that little moment
Yeah.
sets up such a
Everything.
good character moment for him later.
Yeah.
But he goes to London. He meets the team. You got JP, who's the how do you say his name?
I'm gonna run it down. Hold on, I got it right here. You've got Damson Idris.
Damson Idris, thank you.
Damson Idris as Joshua Pierce. Other members of the team, we got Carrie Condon as Kate McKenna, who's
Fantastic.
the Irish designer. Javier Bardem, of course, is Ruben Cervantes. He's the owner. And then on the pit crew, I like they had only one representative, like real representative for the pit crew. That was Callie Cook as Jody. She's the tire girl, right? You've
like
got Kim Bodnia as Casper, who's like the guy. He's like the head crew guy, right? Like,
Yeah, he was
I
cool.
don't
I
know
liked
the
him.
fucking terms.
I don't know him either.
Yeah, all right, but that's
He's the
kind of
crew
like
chief, I think.
that's the crux of the people that he's really interacting with at depth. Yeah.
And so, he gets there, he joins the team, and then it's your typical, second into the third act of him not, he's not very good at first. He crashes on his first test drive, but he's slowly.
I'm so glad he crashed.
I was
so
so
many
happy he didn't
times
come out
in
in
this
Days
film.
of Thunder, where he's just like immediately good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he still is good enough that his time, proves he makes a bet, and he's still, even with his crash, he's still fast enough. To like win his own bet. And I like the series of events where he has his rivalry with
Joshua
JP
Pierce.
is Joshua Pierce.
Yep.
He calls him JP.
the fake
but
driver, JP. Yep.
the younger guy. And I like the way that Sonny slowly, you see him really put effort into learning the track, learning the car, and working with the designer and working with the pit crew, and he really starts to come around on being a part of a team.
Yeah.
When what we've seen up until that point is he's not very good at being on a team. He's a little selfish because there's a couple pivotal moments which we'll get to later, where he is really selfish and he does cause harm to his own team by not being willing to budge on his own beliefs around racing.
Yes.
And I think that's a really good arc for a character like that.
I agree.
And then, it ends up culminating with, like you said, this team's in last. They need to win in order to survive. Otherwise, the board of directors is going to sell the team and take it from Ruben, Javier Bardem.
Yep.
And that's kind of what they have 9 races to do so. And that's kind of what it's all about.
Well, the movie over the course of telling the story reveals the inner workings of every character. Good job.
Yeah.
We can jump into spoilers now. The thing that I really, really, really enjoy about the beginning is, like we were saying, visually they give you everything you need to know about this character without him just outright saying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see a girl come up and she's like, the BMW guys are bitching about their brakes, and he's like, thanks for the heads up, right?
And then he puts the hat on a bunch of other hats of brands.
Yeah, exactly. And then after the race, which, surprise, surprise, because of his aggressive driving, they get better position, they hold the position, they win the race, This one guy, after their shift is, hunting him. He's like, you son of a bitch, you could have killed me out there. They're painting a picture of the type of driver he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Shea Wiggum,
Love him.
the actor who plays, I guess his name's Chip Hart. It doesn't matter. Shea Wiggum is like, hey, same time next year, I'd like to offer you a spot. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm out of here. I'm going to leave in my shitty Winnebago and just piece the fuck. Is it a Winnebago or a Volkswagen bus? Whatever it is.
It's one of
He's
them.
like-
and I'm
I'm
doesn't
outta
touch
here.
the trophies.
Or
He
no, it's a
doesn't touch
Volkswagen
trophies.
bus. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
another thing you get in the beginning.
He doesn't
is
even
that
care. He's like,
Yep.
I'm out.
he
He
walks
doesn't
away
touch
from
the
winner's circle.
trophies. Yeah.
He doesn't even go to the winner's circle in
He
the beginning.
never
He doesn't
touches
touch
the
trophies.
trophy.
Nope.
Oh,
Mhm.
shit.
That's
I
another
didn't
moment.
realize that until just
That's
now.
another good moment.
Wow.
And that's the thing is about this movie. And since we're in spoilers, I just
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to run through before I forget.
Yeah, drop it.
At the end of the movie, he wins the race. Sonny Hayes wins.
Whoa,
and-
wait. He what?
And we'll get to that in a
Surprise!
second. But this is more to set up the end. And then he walks away. He's like, hey, look, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I'm in this for the love of racing, which we'll get to. But then he ends, and he's in California, and he's going to go be a Baja driver. And there's so many things that the movie sets up in the beginning, like the waitress part, where she's like, well, then what's it about? And you find out later he left racing because he had a horrible accident.
Really horrible. They don't tell you how horrible it was.
You find out in later with the report that it was swelling. He could have gone blind. He almost was paralyzed. He has a metal rod in his back.
He was almost deaf. Yeah.
It's nuts. And the movie does a good job of giving you hints towards that. You see the
Mm-hmm.
crash. You see him on the ground. At one point, you see JP watching the footage, from back in the day of covering it. But when the waitress is like, well, what's it about? And later you find out when he's telling Kate,
Yep.
he's like, I left racing because I lost my love for it. And in order to get back into it, I just started racing anywhere and however I could. It didn't matter who was watching. It didn't matter about the money. It didn't matter about the fame. Yep. I needed to get back behind the wheel. You find out he was even a taxi driver for a little bit. It's like, what was that like? I want to see a 10-minute short of him being a taxi driver.
I love that.
And so you find out that like he just loves racing. And it sets up this beautiful, just fucking beautiful moment where he's like, there's this moment where everything goes quiet and I'm flying and I'm chasing that moment. And then when that moment hits, the sound design, the cinematography, everything, when it goes quiet and it's just a rum, it's just fucking incredible. Yeah. But Sonny Hayes has just a great character arc where he learns to be a part of a team because early on, he doesn't let his teammate pass. They're fighting for last place, and his teammate's like, I can get around you. And he's like, you're not getting around me without a fight. And his whole point is, we got to show everybody that they don't get around us without a fight. Yeah. But he causes harm in doing so, and slowly, through the course of the second act, you know, he kind of comes around. You see him, he starts to run with the team. He starts to really be more involved. He starts to let people, like, let his teammate pass him. They start really, like... It starts to really develop, and it all comes to a head at the end, in the last race, where they're really working together for like the first time, and it results in the win.
Well, and in between that, you have I think what's a really good moment is you show the maturity that that Sonny Hayes has, right? As he's racing and he's like jockeying for position, he's doing so much just for the team so that JP can get a win, and then JP doesn't listen to him. And because he doesn't listen to him, he's in a bad crash. And so then he's out for 3 races.
Crash too.
Yeah. And so, dude.
They did that practical.
It's crazy. Yeah. Some of the stunts in this are just insane.
Nuts.
So he crashes real bad because, you know, Sonny's like, wait for the straightaway. Then you can beat this guy. Don't do it on the turn. He goes to do it on the turn. He crashes, right? He's in the hospital. His mom thinks it's Sonny's fault because he's been driving so recklessly, and like, you know, like Sonny's like C's for chaos, C's for combat, like all the Plan C stuff. I love that. But then what ends up happening is those 3 races, because Sonny has to do it himself, and they really do like shell the fucking backup driver. like
yeah, Luca, he's just there, but you don't see him.
Luca Cortez is like a joke in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he shows up and like they pay no attention. They're like, and he was in those races, but Sonny kept winning. But
you see that he slowly, like, he gets 10th place, then he gets 7th place, then he gets 5th place. It's like, oh, he's getting better.
He's getting better. Yeah. The thing that I really like the most. There's a worse version of this movie, where it feels like the entire time every character is explaining to you the thing that they want. You know, like every character has the I want story. In this, we get to see it, and then we see it develop. So, like, Sonny Hayes, we get all the clues in the beginning. He wants to drive Baja. He wanted to be the fastest in the world. He's still having dreams about the moment where he could have been the fastest in the world, but because of an accident, he lost it, right? With JP, you get he wants to be one of the best racers. He's worked really hard. You see how hard he has worked and is working. Like, he's not presented as just like, I'm the dickhead and I'm in charge. He's like, no, I want to win. My mom's here. She's with me all the time. I'm not prioritizing partying or being this guy. Like, he actually has he's not just a redeemable character. He's a good character from the get-go.
I was going to say, I think he kind of starts off as he's in it for the fame a little bit. Like, I'm not saying completely, but, like, he does have a little bit of a mix where he's, like, a little bit of the fame, a little bit of the image. I love one of my favorite things
mostly
of this movie.
like his guy. Like, his,
his manager
Cashman
is his friend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please don't do the thing where that guy wants him to focus on the fame, and then the JP does it, and then they have a falling out. There's a beautiful moment where at the end, earlier, Sonny Hayes is like, dude, it's all noise. All that fame, it's all noise. Like, you got to do it because you love driving. And then right before the last race, his media manager friend comes in and is like, you got press, you got this. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. They know where to find me. And he's like, what? And he's like, dude, it's all noise. And I was like, oh. And he's like, and then his friend's like, all right, man. And they shake hands. I was like, yes, they didn't make him an asshole. Yes, they support him. Good. I was like, yeah.
It was
like,
good.
It was such a good moment. Because JP, I feel like that's his full turn from, yes, there's fame, yes, there's fortune, but, like, I'm doing this because I love it, and it was like a switch put him all the way over to it, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, and
Yes.
like I was saying, like we get to see all of their I wants, right? And like even
Yeah.
Kate, like we see that she wants to be the best designer out there for this car before she even explains her background behind it.
Yeah.
Right? With Javier Bardem, I think he's the only one who just tells us what he wants. He doesn't want to be broke.
Yeah, which is fair.
That's
Like,
fine.
it works.
But like, so we get that instead of having it explained over and over again. On top of that, there is the sub theme of everybody who's part of this F1 like top gear society race team, like everyone's all into the technology and the design and how complex it can be, all the simulators and the like we've got all these computers running all the time, and Brad Pitt shows up and
With
instead
tennis
of
balls.
making it a spectacle, he's just running. He's just doing simple reflex exercises. And I liked the contrast between his and JP's training without having the scene where Brad Pitt, like, to appease the older audiences that are going to go see this.
it's a
He's
dad
not
movie.
he's not like all you need is blood, sweat, and tears. Like, no, we just see him working hard and doing classic exercises. We don't need to be hit over the head with the message. But we get it. Like, all you really need to do is put dedication into it, right? It doesn't matter
And-
how you do it. Like, just put the dedication in. So that theme
And there's a
being
great-
there.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, well, there's a great reflective moment on that too, where after JP's recovered from his accident, he sees the tennis balls in the corner, and instead of using all the fancy equipment, he starts using it.
He
and I was
grabs
like,
the tennis
There's the subtlety of how these two. Okay,
Yeah, rather
This
than
is- this is a
having be
point-
like I was saying, there's a lesser version of this movie where he picks up the tennis balls and we get the close up shot of him
and
looking
like,
at
this
them.
music swells.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Like we didn't get that. Instead, it's just like very subtle. It's like, oh, he's gonna do the thing that the other driver was doing. Like
yeah.
really,
So
really good
what-
on that.
What I liked about this, a lot, is the relationship between Sonny and JP. There's not an exact moment where they're like, I respect you now. We're friends now. It's slowly, what happens is slowly, without saying anything, just through actions and words, Sonny starts to realize this young kid was like me when I was young, and I need to be the mentor in a way. Like, he doesn't full out be the mentor, but he's like, I'm gonna fill this role to the best degree that I can, is what I got. And JP is slowly like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking to him, because there's a really good moment where he's in the driving simulator and he's running the simulation right before his crash.
Yep.
And he kept trying to do it his way, where he was going to pass on the turn, pass on the turn,
Yep.
pass on the turn.
He's
And
trying to prove
eventually-
Sonny wrong.
Yeah, and then eventually he does it the way Sonny said to, and he's like, okay. And then he goes to his mom and was like, hey, I need to tell you something. I know you think it's Sonny's fault, but he told me to do it this way, and if I had, I wouldn't have wrecked.
Yeah.
And that right there is just the subtle way of showing these two characters start to respect each other.
Yep.
And it ends where after the race is done, in the celebration, Sonny doesn't touch the trophy. Everybody on the crew is going crazy, and he's just leaving.
Yep.
He like says goodbye to Kate, who is his like kind of love interest. I'm glad they didn't fully lean into that. And JP catches him. He's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "No, you don't need me anymore." He's like, "It's your team." And he's like, "It was always my team, old man." And then like, this is like this moment of like, I respect you. And what I think really loved about that moment, and at first I thought I wasn't gonna like it, in the final race, Sonny is like basically sacrifices his position so that JP can win. But then Lewis Hamilton is on JP's ass, and JP's like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And he's like, is Sonny still able to drive? Is he still able to drive? I'm like, yes, but you're in first. Just go, go, go. And then he takes out Lewis Hamilton, so Sonny gets his F1 win. And I was like, I loved that. I loved that
was
Sonny was like,
actually
I'm gonna
really
let
good.
you win, and JP was like, actually, dude, I'm gonna win more of
Actually,
these.
yeah.
It's your turn. And I'm like, I loved that. I love this movie, dude. Like,
Dude,
it's
it was
such a
good. The
such a
way
good
it was
movie.
presented was great. I like, they show the montages were not overdone. The music wasn't overdone. The sound design was phenomenal.
Both great too.
The character development was good, and then the scenes that were really telling were really like the more important scenes where we're seeing into characters. We're seeing how they interact. Also, I thank you so much for not overly romanticizing any sex scenes in this. Like,
Yep.
I think, like, because there's the romantic relationship between
Little love
Kate
interest.
and Sonny that pops up. but like all we ever really get are like some kisses and some insinuation, and that's great. Like that's all we needed. We didn't need anything crazy, you know?
Afterwards on the balcony where like she just like kind of leans on him and she's like, "Why are you here?" And we get this really good moment where you find out she's there to prove everybody wrong, including her ex-husband and her professors and everything. And you find out that that's pretty funny. And then you find out that Sonny Hayes is like, he's like, "I love to race. I lost that love, and now I'm chasing this feeling." And it's a feeling that is like, chasing that feeling isn't toxic. Chasing that feeling isn't bad. He's racing to chase a specific feeling while he's racing. Yeah, it's what he loves. And
that's it.
That's why I think it makes a lot of sense that his character wouldn't stick with F1. Why would he? He got the feeling. He got his win. He's out there for the experience, and he wants as many of those as he can get.
Yeah. The other thing, we can talk about the ending after this, but the other thing that I really like, his first press conference is probably one of my favorite things.
Oh, I was going to say, yes.
It's right after a race. He did not do well. He really effed up the race for both of them, I think, in the first one. And then, like, they're doing the press conference, and the guy's just asking him questions. He's like, "You had a bunch of failed marriages," and he's like, "Yep." He's like, "You drove as a taxi driver." He's like, "Yep." And then he's like, "Do you wish you did anything differently?" And he's like, "Yep." And then, like,
that is such a good moment.
I was
too,
like,
it's like,
it was great. That's all you need, right?
And those are real questions people would ask somebody at a press conference, and that's the answers I want to hear in real life. Where someone's like, "Do you regret all this bad shit you did?" And he's like,
"Yep."
Yeah, obviously.
He's like, "You had a gambling addiction?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, and that was perfect. That's all we needed to see. He's like, yeah, I do wish I did some stuff differently, but it doesn't matter because I'm here now. See ya. And
the comedy in this movie is so well written because like that's a funny moment, but it's not written to be a quip.
I also I really like, this was after the first race too. I really like the moment with Jody where she's like, "Hey, you stood up for me back there." And then she goes, "Don't do it again. It makes me look weak." And he goes, "You got it." And then it never happens again. And it's resolved. Like there's a tiny bit of conflict. It gets resolved. And then she's capable as an independent character. And this is like good character development to continue her story and get better with the team. You know what I mean?
And she does.
Yeah. It's
and
really
I think
good.
that's great. Yeah. The character writing in this is really, really well done.
It was good.
Like, and it's like what you're saying. It's not over-explaining. It's not like two characters sitting down there like, "When I was a boy, my father did this, and it made me love this, so I've been working so hard, and I want this so badly." It's like, no. Like, you understand these motivations plenty. And there's a really good moment. And, again, I mean, I can talk about all the really good moments, but Kate's trying to get the two of them to – they're in Vegas, and it's before the Vegas race. And she's trying to get them to connect, and she's like, "How old were you when your dad's died?" And they both go, 13. And I'm like, see, it's
and they kind of look at each other, but then they don't have a big conversation. Yeah, they don't have like
it's not like
they don't do the Rebel Moon sit around everybody explain your story.
Like, I like that moment because right before she's like, "We're gonna play poker, and if I win, I pick who the race leader is, and if you win, you pick who it is." And then JP's like, "Wasn't Sonny a professional gambler?" And she's like, "Yeah, now he lives out of his van." This is like that's a good moment. It's good. It's funny.
Well, and then the reveal that like he actually won at poker, but like let the younger driver believe that he won. Like it's a really, they do a good job of showing what I would regard to be positive masculinity, which is like he's a manly man, right? And he's doing things that in his mind are indicative of him identifying as a man, but he's not imposing them upon anybody else. He's doing them in a very mature and I would almost say stoic way. Like he's very quiet about it. He's not going around going, "I'm the man," and blah, you got like he's like, "No, I'm going to let this guy win, even though I know I have the hand that wins this because I don't need to right now." That to me, that sort of positive masculinity that he keeps showing throughout the film. And it's not just positive masculinity, it's being a role model. Like that's what he's doing.
He really falls into it with like, and that's what I was saying. Like he falls into that mentor role in the way that character would. He doesn't automatically go, "All right, I'm going to be the old mentor that tells you
this is how you do it." Yeah.
It's his way of mentoring, which is a lot of do as I do. Like,
and he is also like, they do show where he's kind of a dick. Like there's the scenes where he pulls into the pit and they're like, "Pull out," and he's like, I want my fucking tires.
Give me my tires.
Give
Or,
me my
like,
tires. He's like
when,
a toddler a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
And there's a moment where JP makes him crash, and
Yeah.
they have their argument in the hallway.
oh,
and
yeah, and he pushes it. And he's really being a dick in that scene. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. All right.
Yeah. It's just look, I will say this is one of those movies.
This is a good
and
movie.
I don't say this about every movie we talk about. I don't say this about a lot of the movies we talk about. This is one you got to see this in theaters.
You do.
You
Yeah.
got to get
Yeah.
this experience.
No, and when
Unless you have a killer surround sound system.
when you were talking about it and I thought about even just the trailers and stuff, that's when I was like, okay, I have to see this in theaters. And I'm really glad I did because I would not have gotten that sound experience otherwise.
No.
And they really did a great job, especially the a couple sound design highlights. You might have a couple too, but like the first time that he really takes off in NASCAR even, and you get like the first bit of surround sound. The first time that Brad Pitt is in the F1 car, and like you get like a glimpse of it, and then he spins out, and like it all stops, and it goes back to regular movie sound. And then the crash specifically, JP's crash, instead of highlighting and glorifying all of the sound of that or going in slow motion, they show it in real time, and they cut the sound out. And I thought that was perfect. I was like, that's what that feels like when you see something horrific happen to someone like that might have killed them. Like, you see the car explode.
Oh,
You're like,
I thought he was dead. I was like, oh my God,
so,
this movie just
dude.
pulled one on me. I was like, this kid's
whoa,
dead.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not going the direction I thought.
Yeah, and,
You know what I also
but
loved
then
about
they
that
get him
moment?
out, and like, what's real? Oh yeah, you hit me. Yeah, what'd you like?
Well, I was gonna say, like, the comparison is you find like way early on, JP's watching the footage of Sonny's crash, and you hear the announcer say it's so subtle, and people might have missed it, where he goes, "And nobody's coming to help."
Yeah, no
And
one
then-
is attending to him yet.
And then when JP crashes, without hesitation,
Jumps right in.
Sonny stops and runs and grabs him out of the car, like doesn't
Yep.
hesitate a second.
Yeah, it
and
shows
I thought
his-
that was a great. Yeah.
It shows his empathy. He doesn't
Yeah.
say it. He doesn't say, I empathize with that. You know, he's like, he's not like, I've been there too, kid. Like, no, he just gets out of the car and does the thing he needs to do. Yeah, 100%. Phenomenal movie. Loved everything about it. And then at the end, he shows up to a fucking Baja circuit.
Yup.
Okay.
And that's it.
Hold on, though. Is
Why
this
you explain this?
Is this a teaser for a follow-up movie about a Baja circuit? Because
Okay.
in my mind, and this is immediately what I thought, totally different from F1. Like F1, Javier Bardem's like, oh, if you crash, you could fuck yourself up. Me, I'm looking at a Baja card, and I'm like, dude, if you have that many things in your spine, you just can't drive Baja.
Yeah.
We've entered the realm of impossibility. I'm like, you don't drive Baja with that
So-
many pieces of metal in your spine, you know?
Yeah. And as for a sequel, I don't remember who said it, but it was a couple people in the movie.
Yeah.
Were like, this shouldn't get a sequel. This doesn't need one.
Agree with them. Yeah,
And
I was like,
I
we don't need the
pray it
Baja
doesn't.
sequel to this. We don't need the Baja 1000. No.
The only way I'd be okay with a sequel to this, the only way, and this is just off the top of my head,
Yeah.
is you maybe wait 5, maybe 10 years, and it's now you bring Brad Pitt back to Formula One as the mentor. It focuses on JP being the older driver, and you bring in a new rookie. But even that, it's the same thing again, and I don't want that.
Here's my sequel pitch. Brad Pitt is the pit man, like he's the crew captain for a Baja race, right? He's not the racer. We continue to move the focus onto real racing, real racers. We get a younger racer. We show some parallels between them and maybe even JP, right? And then we get the Baja circuit race. And Brad Pitt is the crew captain, and we're told the story through his and the other racers' eyes. That's what I think.
I don't think this needs a sequel.
No.
It's bad enough.
Me neither.
We're getting Days of Thunder 2,
Yep.
which definitely, from what I saw, doesn't need a sequel. But real quick, I want to highlight the cinematography because that's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
always.
Okay. So, wait, your jam is the cinematography
No, I meant just
from
like
the
my
movie?
jam.
Oh,
not,
okay.
Sorry, not podcast jam. Just my jam
Yeah.
is my groove is
All right.
cinematography. Look, this is Claudio Miranda,
Yep.
who has worked with Joseph Krasinski before.
Yep.
He did the cinematography for Oblivion. He did the cinematography for Tron Legacy.
Tron
He
Legacy
did-
has phenomenal cinematography
Yes.
for a
he also
3D
did-
movie. Yeah. Okay.
He also did Life of Pi. the
Oh,
cinematography for
cool.
that.
Yeah. No, that's really
Um,
good.
He's also done like music videos. You'll find that most DPs, most cinematographers do music videos.
Well, you got to
That's
do
kinda how they get
something when
their
you're not
break in.
doing movies.
Yeah, I mean, like
Take a
Backstreet
little
Boys
break.
did yeah, and I mean, honestly, like those connections with musical artists and like their producers can help you get behind the camera
Yeah.
in a movie.
True.
Obviously, somebody like Claudio Miranda, who is a phenomenal cinematographer,
Yep.
doesn't need that. But what I love about this movie is they used special iPhone 15 gimbal mounts on the cars. So when you
Yes.
get those pannings where it's like it's in the front and then it does like the twist to the thing.
Yep.
That's all practical rigs on the cars.
I
And
love that.
I honestly kind of like Top Gun 2. Only in Top Gun 2 I can pick out more of the CGI moments.
Yeah.
In this, it was really hard for me to tell what wasn't practical.
Other than that first flyover of the Silverton
Daytona?
race. No,
Oh,
the
Silverton,
Silverton race. It was the first flyover, of Silverton, the F1 track that they're first racing on. That first, I was like, that's fucking CGI.
Okay,
Like-
that's true. I forgot the establishing shots don't always look the best, but when the
Yeah.
racing, I guess I mean more like the racing
No,
shots.
the
which-
practical racing. Well, and here's another crazy thing about this. They actually, they only had time in between warm-ups and race to like run some of the stuff that
Yeah.
they needed to get. So like everything in this movie was on a time trial. Like
yeah, because they filmed it in the off season.
yeah,
Or a
it-
little bit at a Grand Prix, but mostly the off
some of it
season.
during the Grand Prix, but a lot of it during the offseason. And then
Yeah.
the stuff that they filmed during the Grand Prix, they had to have like they literally would have like Brad Pitt and Damson Idris standing next to real drivers, like so like there's Formula One drivers that are just
Yeah.
credited in as cast in this film because they're in it. They're
Yeah, 'cause,
themselves.
Like, Lewis Hamilton's in this. He
Yeah.
plays a role. Like he's a racer.
Yeah.
And
It was good.
another thing with the cinematography that I really loved is there's one shot that really stands out to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see this movie again in theaters. I'm probably going to go next week during
Oh,
the week
nice.
for another IMAX showing if I can. There's this really good one drone shot, and it could be an FPV drone, but I'm not sure. It might be
Okay.
just a really good rig. But like it's following them on the home stretch in the last race, and
Yep.
there's a banner, and it just slightly goes over and then slightly dips, but it really does a good job at showing the speed of
Yeah.
these cars on the straightaway, and it's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
really beautiful drone shot with the nightscape in the background. It's perfectly lit. There's a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
flares. It's just a really beautiful drone shot that like as the cars are racing.
You know what was a crazy shot, and I think it was practical? In the Daytona race in the very beginning, he passes that one guy, and there's like almost like a wreck happening, but like at the same time, I don't know if you caught this. There's like a helicopter that comes down with a camera
the news helicopter
close
yeah,
to
it's practical.
get the. I was like. I know it's
Fun
like
fact?
a tiny second of the film, but I was like, "Oh my god! All of those
there's-
vehicles are so close to each other."
That camera or that helicopter also was filming. So it's in the shot and it was filming.
That's okay. That like this movie has just shown me like you know how like sometimes people are like oh like well what are you not good at? I could never
No.
never do any of this. Like
Did you see the blink and you miss it Chris and Liam Hemsworth cameos at
No.
the last race?
no.
Blink
But
and you miss it, they're talking to each other.
That's hilarious.
yeah. Look,
Yeah, this movie has just shown me like how insane it is that people can be this good at driving these insane. I mean, they keep saying it in interviews, but then you're watching it, and you're watching like the sparks actually come off of the gearbox and stuff like that, and
so good.
in these cars, and you're like, oh, these are legit rocket ships. Like these are
Yeah.
people are going. And I guess after filming, Brad Pitt was able to get his F2 car. He was on one of the tracks, and he was able to get it up to 197 miles an hour. What the fuck? Like
that's awesome.
that's so fast.
Yeah, but it's not F1, so it doesn't count.
I can't. Yeah, right. Yeah, but
but it's not F1,
But it's
so
not
I don't
F1. Like, yeah, insert fucking D-Rex shows up, and he's like, yeah, but it
Yeah.
wasn't an F1 car.
Oh
Like,
my
that's
god,
fucking-
F1 Fast and the Furious crossover? Is that what we're
Oh
up
my
for?
god, no.
F1, Dominic Toretto
Oh
comes
my
into
God,
F1.
yeah.
Look, I don't
Dominic
have any other
Toretto would
thoughts.
block an F1 car with a bumper.
Yeah, will you blow it up? I don't
Yeah.
have any other thoughts, but I've got to get a glass of water before my throat dries out.
Oh, before your jam.
Before my jam.
You weren't prepared.
So, Kevin,
the
give
water.
me your final thoughts on F1.
I have
while
3
I take
drinks
a second.
here. No, I'm going to describe my beverages to you. Now, final thoughts on F1. Really good movie. Just like Odie was saying, definitely go see this in theaters. It's totally 100% worth it, even with the insane cost of a ticket. Because you don't go to the theaters that much anymore because of the insane cost of a ticket. So it's like $17 a ticket to go see F1, the movie. And it's phenomenal. It's worth every second in theaters. The sound design is amazing. Unless you have a private theater at home that has better sound design than the theater itself, in which case you have enough money to go see it in theaters anyway and should try to keep theaters alive. So just regardless, go see it in theaters. If you have the money for a private sound system at home, just enjoy this one in theaters and then watch it at home. If you don't have the money for a private sound system at home, good news. There's theaters. So that's what I recommend. Really great character development through and through. I hope there's not a fucking sequel on this thing because we do not need to see Brad Pitt driving Baja. I think it's fine. This tells a really good closed loop of a story. We don't need a second lap. We don't need to qualify for anything. There's no extras. If there's an
Second lap.
and not only that, based on standard naming conventions, if you called it F2, it would just
It'd be a different game.
it
Different
wouldn't.
movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be F1 anymore. So
Definitely not.
that's what I think about F1. Great movie though. Odie,
Yes.
what's your jam this week?
Well, actually, sorry. Before the jam.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm
I,
sorry. I'm
I
jumping
wanted
ahead
to,
on you.
Yeah, you are. If you would be so kind to humor me,
I could.
I'm going to rattle off all the movies I've seen this year so far in theaters. And out of this
Is
list,
that your jam this week? Is all the movies you've seen so far?
well, out of this list, I'm going to pick the 3 that I think are worth seeing the
Okay.
most as we get halfway through.
All right, go over the list.
So these are all the movies I've seen so far.
All right.
Den of Thieves 2, The Damned, Wolfman, Flight Risk, Presence, One of Them Days, Companion, Love Hurts, Bring Them Down, Captain America 4, The Monkey, Last Breath, Riff Raff, Mickey 17, In the Lost Lands, Black Bag, Looney Tunes The Day the Earth Blew Up, Snow White, Working Man, Minecraft Movie, The Amateur, Sacramento, Sinners, The Accountant 2, Until Dawn, Thunderbolts, Fight or Flight, Hurry Up Tomorrow, Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Ballerina, How to Train Your Dragon, Materialist, Elio, 28 Years Later, F1, Jurassic World.
That's so many movies.
So many movies this year.
That's a lot of movies.
I've seen a lot of movies, and I'm only halfway through.
Yeah, not a lot of those are. I mean, I've probably seen like 8 of those, maybe.
I would say
I've
out
seen
of-
half of those, for sure.
the best movies this year
Yeah,
are.
The Damned.
I'm gonna go top 5 because I think there's 5 good ones.
Okay, you loved The Damned, so I know
The
that's on
Damned
there.
would be number 5.
'Kay.
Number 4 would probably be Black Bag.
Okay.
I think
I
that's
need
a
to
really
watch
good
that.
movie. Sinners would be number 3.
Okay. Yep.
28 Years would be number 2, and F1 would be number 1.
Nice. I think I would flip flop F1 and 28 Years Later. F1 is probably my second favorite movie I've seen so far this year.
Hell yeah.
Sinners is up there. I had a really fun time watching Snow White because it was so bad.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
a fun theater experience. Not a great movie. I would not recommend seeing that in theaters. Yeah. I mean, that pretty much covers it for me. I don't think I've seen that many things of note in theaters so far this year. I am going to get a theater pass because I'm seeing like 3 more films in theaters this month. I almost bought it before I saw F1, but I really poorly planned how late you could be and still buy a pass. Well, actually, I didn't poorly plan. You cannot physically purchase a Regal pass. Like, you can't walk up to the concession stand. You have to do it on the app. And I'm like, well, that's dumb. What if I just want a card that I can present to you when I come to the theater and say, this
It's
is
on your phone.
I hate that. It's so dumb. So like then I was like, well, I guess I'll just pay for this ticket and then I'll get the pass. Whatever.
You could have just paid that price and got the pass.
I honestly was going to just get the pass, but at that point it was so close to the time that the movie was starting that I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll just pay for the ticket. What's your jam this week?
Oh man, I was gonna say something.
Oh, what were you gonna say about the pass? About theaters being dumb, but how we need to keep them alive so that we can continue to enjoy theatrical experiences, and that there's actually art and film in it, and that you know, even if they're a roller coaster, they're still a really fun time, and it's a communal event that we can all enjoy.
Yes, I was also gonna say The Damned is on Hulu now.
Oh, cool!
And you should go watch it, everybody.
I need to watch The Damned, Black Bag, and
Presence.
one other film. Yeah, Presence. I need to watch those.
Presence is the same writer as Jurassic Park and everything.
Oh, cool.
My jam.
Yeah, what's your jam?
Oh, yeah. So I got a couple. Music-wise, I've been going to a local record store and making a list of
all your Hall & Oates records.
Well, I wish I had more of them. But I've been adding a list. Like I go and get like one. Yeah. Every couple weeks because they're like $20. So they're kind of expensive, but it's my collection, so I'm adding to it slowly but surely.
Okay.
And I recently rediscovered my love for Billy Squier. I forgot how many good hits Billy Squier has.
Oh my God! I don't know shit
My
about
Kind of Lover.
Yeah.
Lonely as the Night.
Oh
I got
my
a vinyl with
God.
that, dude. Lonely as the Night. I forgot how fucking good that intro to that song is.
Oh my
It's
God.
so good.
Yeah.
And you want to know what's crazy?
Yeah.
You want to know what made me like rediscover Billy Squier?
Hit me.
I told you I watched this movie. Not my jam. I watched a movie called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
Yeah. With
and that's a real movie. And it's not a comedy,
with
by the way.
Ralph
Sam Elliott.
Oh yeah, Sam Elliott. Yeah.
And that movie opens with the intro to Lonely as the Night. And I was like, why does that sound so familiar? I was like, oh my God, it's Billy Squier. Oh my God, I like him. And then, rediscovered my love for Billy Squier.
Wow.
See,
even with a bad movie, you might get a good soundtrack hit, you know?
You know what? That is so true, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
true.
Even with a bad movie, sometimes you get like a deep cut soundtrack that you're like, oh, whoa, no, I love this song. Yeah, and then you have movies that are mostly soundtrack, like Baby Driver, which was pretty good, but the soundtrack was killer. Yeah,
Billy Squier is my music jam.
Okay. You got a show?
Because I got to look up how to say this guy's name because I always butcher it. But I have actually been doing a lot of research. You know me. I love to cook. I almost went to culinary school back in the day. So I've actually been reading some cookbooks and listening to an audiobook about Joel Robuchon, the most decorated Michelin star chef in history.
Oh, cool.
He passed away back in 2018. I'll probably do a deep dive on him.
How did he pass away? Shellfish allergy?
He was 73.
Oh,
so
wow. That was
probably more
insensitive of me.
Causes. He, like I said, most Michelin star restaurants ever. He's got tons of good cookbooks. I got one of them that I've been looking through. He's just an incredible chef, and I just love his life story. I love the fact that he threw something at Gordon Ramsay back in the day.
He threw something at him.
Yeah, a little sizzle if I do. I think I'm going to do a deep dive on him because it'd be outside of our normal realm.
Dude, that's what the deep dive's for, man.
So, probably like his life story, just fantastic. And I know not everybody probably wants to listen to the life story of a cook.
No,
or
we
chef,
do.
I should
No,
say.
that's what the deep dive's for. I do bring all the interesting facts.
So yeah, Joel Robuchon, just
that's cool.
Awesome. And honestly, like one of his most basic dishes is a mashed potato dish that is, at the end of the day, ends up being about 50% butter, 25% milk. And he takes the potatoes, and after you boil them, instead of mashing them traditionally, he gently pushes them through a mesh strainer a couple times, and then adds, however many potatoes you did, you do half of that in butter, add a little bit of milk, and it's just, I made it the other night.
You keep going.
I was going to say, just don't make that if you're on a diet, because that's it was like 5,000 calories.
I have made those mashed potatoes before, but it's because I worked with so my brother, my brother's a chef. He's worked with Michelin star chefs. I'm very lucky to have the just plethora of people in my life that I can go and spend quality time with. But my brother and I worked in a kitchen up here it was at a place called the Inn at Earl West, which is fine dining. There was a master chef there at the time named Dale Miller, and that is how he made potatoes, but he would add cheese to them on top of that. So there was
I
just
don't like cheesy potatoes.
just this rich, but it was like, dude, it was the most fine, like insane cheesy potato. It was so good. But yeah, so that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah,
I hope
that's my
you do a
jam.
deep
Those are my
dive
two.
on Matt Rubichon.
Joel.
Joel Rubichon.
I
That'd be
think I'm
great.
saying his name right.
Yeah, you probably. Who knows?
I'll find out when I do
Do you
the
know
deep
who
dive,
my
so I'll look
favorite
into
chef
it.
ever is?
Gordon Ramsay?
No.
Bobby Flay?
No.
Michael Simon?
No.
Should I keep guessing?
Yeah.
Emilio Glassi?
No.
I mean, I know a lot of chefs. I can
Keep
keep
going.
The guy from The Bear?
No.
Who?
It's Alain Passard.
Oh, okay.
Famous French chef who
I wouldn't have gotten there.
Well, he's a deep cut. He's
Yeah.
a deep cut. But he actually, so he is the first chef to ever do a Michelin star vegan restaurant.
Oh.
And that is why I love him, because he takes the idea of meat-centric meals and then just eliminates that meat portion from them. And you know me, I'm not vegan, but like I lean toward veggies a lot. And so to see someone take the art and care that normally goes into these what I would call more stereotypical meals in the fine dining world, and then just twist them and add a level of, objective creativity and difficulty to them is amazing to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So Alain Passard, who's my favorite.
Joel.
Close second, Anthony Bourdain, of course. Like, I mean, that's the easier guess.
Well, that's...
Easier guess on that one. And then Matty Matheson behind that, for sure.
I was going to say Matty Matheson's
Matty
one of my
Matheson
favorites,
behind
dude.
that. Yeah. So progressively more meat-centric after that.
I would say Joel, Gordon, Matty are my top three.
Oh, good. Yeah, those are...
I'm a Gordon Ramsay
those
fan.
are
I have a
solid.
signed photo of Gordon Ramsay in my kitchen.
Yeah.
I love that man. I don't care.
That's amazing. What's not to love? Anyway.
I love him. I don't care.
So I've got two jams for you this week. One jam. So I need to correct something that I said last week. I said that Eisenhorn in my Warhammer deep dive was he was a more like he was Ordo Hereticus for the Inquisition. I am listening to the Eisenhorn books on Audible because like when it comes to Warhammer, I listen to audiobooks. I for some reason, I just enjoy listening to them more than I enjoy reading them. But I'm listening to the first one called Xenos. He is part of Ordo Xenos. I want to double down. I really do think this is the character that Henry Cavill's going to play, and that's part of why I started listening to that this week in my free time. Eisenhorn is a super interesting character in the Warhammer universe. He's an Inquisitor, which means he deals with kind of the gray area. I feel like when you get Space Marines and you get like the good versus the bad, but the Imperium of Man is bad, like you're still like the hyper focus is on the glorification of like the war that is constantly going on in the space.
Yeah.
With Eisenhorn, it's a dirty, gritty detective thriller that can touch on different facets of the Warhammer universe in a much more kaleidoscopic way. Like there's so much more going on. There's so much more available to it. There's a scene very early on in the first Eisenhorn book where a character goes to a planet that because of how its year cycle is, it's actually uninhabitable for life for I think 11 months out of its 27-month cycle, and this character goes there and kills like 12,000 of the leading elite of the planet because they're in cryostasis, and like literally like like the consequences of people's actions are just so much more interesting. And Eisenhorn is a human Inquisitor with psyker powers. Who can use what he calls his will. And his will is like, imagine if you had like the force to dominate someone's willpower. Like that's what his will is. He calls it his will, and he'll like ask someone a question, he'll interrogate them, and he'll use that, and they will like give up the answer immediately. Like it's like
Poker Face.
It's
Telling
like
people are lying.
It's like a more strong arm version of the Jedi, like mind trick.
Okay.
Instead of like these aren't the heretics you're looking for, he's like, tell me their fucking names, and like the person's like, and like they just give up
John,
all
Jack,
the
and
info.
Jill.
Yeah. So really awesome books. And then my second jam is a music jam. It's a hyper specific music jam. I mentioned my buddy Josh, singing karaoke, running, getting out of his comfort zone. I went to karaoke on Thursday night. And I made Josh sing Kiss from a Rose by Seal, which is like, I don't know if you've ever sung that song in karaoke. It's always a banger.
No.
People love that song. Okay. Kiss from a Rose by Seal is like, I feel like anybody in their right mind should have a go-to karaoke song. Like a song that they can just sing no matter how good or bad their voice is sounding that day, no matter how they're feeling. Like you can just, you know you can go through it, you can crush it. My go-to karaoke song is Kiss from a Rose by Seal. Partially a joke because that's the song that the dean of the college gets Jeff to sing on Community. And it's part of a whole episode. It's like a running joke of the episode that they went and sang Kiss from a Rose by Seal. So that became my go-to song. Also, everyone knows the fucking chorus. And if you do it right, you can get the whole bar to sing along with you. And I apparently did so convincingly that someone at a barbecue literally the following day was like, "Oh, you were the DJ for karaoke last night." I was like, "Absolutely not. I'd never been to that bar before in my entire life." But there was a lady, and this is the beauty of going out into a karaoke bar that you've never been to before in even just your hometown. There was a lady, her name's Shirley. That's all I'm going to give is her name is Shirley. Shirley's got to be in her 60s. She's chilling at the bar with her girlfriend. They're having a great time. She gets up and she sings 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf. And I'll be damned if that version of and nobody, there's no way you can go look up Shirley's version of 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf. She got up on the mic, and I cannot tell you enough. This woman, this was the moment of the night that like brought her joy. She literally closed her eyes and got into the fucking song, and she was singing it to her girlfriend and to other patrons at the bar, and really like making eye contact with people. And it's a love song. It's a love ballad. So she's singing this kind of like, and there's like a level of irony to it, I guess, if you're not like Shirley, right? Like if you're not into the moment, you're like, haha, it's Meatloaf. But like at the same time, she did it so earnestly that I can't not highlight. So shout out. I know she's never going to listen to this, but she's like in her 60s. I think she was still wearing nursing scrubs. It's like 10 p.m. on a Thursday night at a local townie bar, and she's just like crushing Meatloaf. But 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf, as sung by Shirley, is my other jam this
Love
week.
it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, do you want to take us out, or you want me to do the thing that I always do where I fuck it up?
Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of the UnPop podcast and hanging on through our tight turns as we navigate the racetrack of content.
Oh, that's good.
Don't forget to email in if you want us to podcast live at your funeral, or if you just want to tell us how great we are, because, who doesn't like a little compliment now and there? That email is mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. And that is the whole thing. It's just mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. There is no power at the end of is. It's just, it's an open-ended question.
I love that
The
I did that. Keep going.
Art by
FrankAce.
FrankAce, and music by moi. Don't forget. Sorry, you always say moi, and I just think that's the artist. It's music by
me.
Kevin.
It's me.
It's music by Kevin. Kevin does all the music. Kevin does all the music for our spiritual other channel, Magnum Nopus. All of the music on there is also
Sister
done
Brother channel, Magnum Nopus.
by Kevin. Thank you guys again for another wonderful week, and we'll be back next week to talk potentially the movie of the year, Superman.
Is that next week?
It's next week, baby.
Oh my God! I have a wedding to go to
trying to
next
go to an
week
early
too.
showing on
There's so
Wednesday.
much going on. Oh my
know.
God, dude! I can't wait for this Superman movie. I honestly, I'm so bummed that we're not seeing it together, but I'm really pumped that it's coming out, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you. Like honestly, I do think this might be movie
It's gonna be
of
Superman heavy.
I think it's gonna be one of the movies of the year for us. Like I honestly, Wow, I can't believe it's next week
This
already.
is one of the movies that I am totally okay with going to a full theater. Usually, I go to the theaters that are almost always empty. But I'm like, if I have to sit next to somebody on opening day in IMAX, I don't give a shit. I'm seeing this movie.
I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I won't get a chance to say it again after this. This is going to be the movie that like either sells me or doesn't on the DCU. because I've
100%.
never been sold on the DCU before.
Me either.
So this will
either.
be the you love Zack Snyder. So this will be
Hold on. Play the music.
You love Batman.
Fuck this. I'm out. Goodbye. How dare you? I have taste, sir.